I got no problem asking
It's your
about
business idea here.
Oh, Jim's going to try to turn it into money for Alabama.
Okay, look. So I've taken Lance's, let's say Lance has 8 season tickets. I've taken Lance's 8 season tickets back. Brown was a violator too. I've taken Brown's 8 season tickets back. Instead of selling those 16 tickets to the next people in line for season tickets, what if I, as Yay Alabama and or the University of Alabama, I now sell those on the secondary market?
Because you've got nothing invested in them. It's straight profit for you.
Right.
As long as you
and all that money comes back to the collective.
As long as it exceeds what you would get from a season ticket holder, it makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, I don't know what a season ticket costs, but whatever a season ticket costs, obviously these people are selling them for more. It's the supply and demand. They're selling them for more on the open market, and Alabama's upset about that. So I'm taking your season tickets away. So instead of me going to the next person in line on the waiting list for season tickets, if I'm Alabama, why do I not just sell my tickets on the open market?
I'll tell you what sucks.
Pricing.
I think there's 2 different types of fans out there. I think there are the fans that take a LSU Alabama game and they're like, okay, I can sell that one and I can pay for my entire season ticket package. I think there's also a lot of people that, if you're in that demographic, that tax bracket where you can afford season tickets, there's a lot of people that are just like, I'm not going to use them, let a friend use them. And the unfortunate thing is if you're one of those and you're just letting somebody use the tickets where they don't go to waste and you're losing your season tickets.
But I tell you,
that's tough to stomach.
If I've been on the Tide Pride, is it still Tide Pride? Is that what they call it?
I think that's what
Crimson
they call
Tradition,
it,
whatever it is now.
Yeah.
If I've been on that wait list for any amount of time and I find out you had tickets come open and you're selling them on the secondary market, I'm going to be super pissed.
Yeah.
Like I've been on the wait list and now you finally got tickets for me, but you're selling them on the secondary market. So
I'm just saying we're looking for new ways to do money.
I know what you're saying, but if I'm Alabama or Auburn or anyone, I'd be extremely careful because I got people on the wait list.
Yeah.
The only way you do this is if you have people on the wait list. You're not going to take away anybody's season ticket if nobody's waiting to buy them.
You see what I'm saying though? Like the Georgia game or the Texas game 2 years ago. Even in basketball, maybe you start doing this in basketball, but like Auburn's coming to town on February 15th in basketball. There'll be a lot of Auburn fans inside Coleman Coliseum.
No doubt.
You know why? Because Alabama fans will take that ticket that they've got and they'll put it on the secondary market, and Auburn fans will overpay because they love their team, but it's easier to drive to Tuscaloosa than it is to Auburn.
Easier to get in Coleman than it is Neville.
And they will overpay, and a lot of Alabama fans will sell it. And I'm sure Alabama fans are trying now to don't sell your tickets to Auburn fans. Let's have a home court advantage on February 15th. When Texas came to town for that big game, and Saban was still the coach there, there were you asked EG, there were a lot of Texas fans in season ticket areas, not just in the upper edge. They were all over the lower bowl.
Landmine Believer touches on what you're talking about there. He says for years, a lot of people bought basketball tickets to get better football levels.
Tickets, yes.
The more you buy in other sports, the better level you get in football. And now they're not using the basketball tickets. So they're putting those on the market, which opens the door for Auburn fans to buy them.
I don't know where I am on this.
Yeah, I am too. I can see it being a great moneymaker for Greg Byrne.
It's your money. Like, this is what the price was. You bought them. And if you want to sell them for more.
Yeah.
But if you're just buying them strictly for resale, and I've got people on the waiting list, I can also see saying, you're not using them. I got somebody that'll use them. I'm trying to get as much crimps into my stadium as possible.
It is a needle to thread right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah. We'll try to get more details on what's going on. If you've been impacted, let us know. And but on the flip side of that, if I got some extra tickets like that and I'm Alabama, why don't I sell them? TideGeek.com.
TideGeek.com.
Feel free to use that if you want to. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. New Bama and Bourbon out today. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We're live now on a Wednesday morning after a late night down in Auburn. We'll talk Auburn basketball here in a second. Man, we got a lot of Super Bowl stuff to get to. Maybe the potential for one of the wildest NIL portal transfers of all time. We'll get to that. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, but the kid is listed as the top portal prospect out there. He's in a different location right now, not at your local football complex. We'll talk tickets for Auburn, Alabama basketball coming up. Insanity, both in Tuscaloosa and down in Auburn. I got hit up in a coffee drive-through line today by the owner of the coffee shop there on 280. He was like, hey, would really love 2 tickets down at Neville Arena for that Auburn, Alabama game.
Jokingly, he said that.
It ended up being joking. He really wants the tickets.
No, it was the joke.
Yeah,
well, let me see what the reaction is. And if it's positive, it's not a joke. If it's negative, I'm just kidding.
Did you tell him you turned down really good tickets?
I did last night. I appreciate that, Lance. I had to work a little bit last night, but off the Stephen Pearl conversation, there was an opportunity for me to be, thanks to LT and a good friend, to be sitting with Taylor Corn right on the court again last night down at Auburn. I don't think anybody treats me better than Auburn Arena does. Anytime I'm there, it seems like I got a good seat.
Coleman Coliseum, you always got a good seat, right?
Well, I do.
People tell me they see you on TV all the time.
You know, y'all's angle where media sits,
but I feel like I've earned it in Tuscaloosa. I've done nothing to help Auburn over the years.
Right.
And Neville, that where the media sits, you're kind of up there.
I mean,
you could have got some really, really good.
I think the only thing higher than us inside Auburn Arena is the air ducts.
Yeah.
I
kind of reminds you of the press box in Cameron Indoor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The crow's nest where TV does their thing. Yeah.
I just thought you could have some of the shots you could have gotten down there.
Oh, would have been great.
Yeah.
Oh, I've sat in those seats before. I think it was an Auburn. It wasn't Auburn, Oklahoma, but it was another good Auburn. I think it was an Auburn somebody Big 12 Challenge game. I think it was a pretty good game too.
Was it Auburn? Oh, I was trying to remember who else they played in that. Yeah.
It was a good game, and maybe it was an SEC game. But Taylor and I in our normal seats last night. Such a great arena, and Auburn just dominating. Paints and the points is where that game was won last night. You can talk about Janai Broome, who had 13 of his 15 in the first half. He didn't do a ton in the second. And we'll talk more about Chad Baker-Mazara and, maybe the edge that he plays on here in a little bit. But in the paint, until they made the substitutions, it was 46-14, Auburn over Oklahoma. Those Oklahoma guys, if they dribbled anywhere around the protective circle under the rim, it was block city all night long.
Yeah, that was one of those games that never felt like, Auburn was in danger of blowing that game. But you kind of wondered once you got into the second half, are they going to be able to cover this big number of 17.5? And then they ultimately pull away because we did lay the 17.5. And, the 2 freshmen we talked about. Fears and Forsyth, we talked with Stephen Pearl about these guys yesterday, and they were 2 of 16 from the floor. Now, they were 18 of 18 from the free throw line, and that is the only thing that kept Oklahoma in the game last night was the shots from the stripe. I mean, 27 of 29, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and
you still lost by 28.
28. You did that, and you still lost by 28. Like, Oklahoma's another one of those teams, I guess we're just going to – I don't know if we're going to do this every time with Alabama and Auburn. We did it with Alabama and Georgia. I think Georgia's a good team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Oklahoma's a good team.
I think Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Georgia, there's another tier. Like there's a top tier of the SEC. There's an exceptional tier. I think we can almost say
there's an exceptional tier with Alabama and Auburn.
Then I think there is a really, really good, like Sweet 16. These teams expect to get to the second weekend. And then that next tier is, are they good enough for the NCAA tournament? I think they are, but because of all the carnage in this league, I'm not exactly sure.
Later on, let's come back to that because I did want to get to because somebody, I think it's ESPN.com today, says, is Kentucky moving towards the bubble? And it got me thinking of where we are on the security of all these SEC teams, 13 in bracketology right now. So let's get back to that because it's a great question because a lot of these teams that right now are penciled in, I think the metrics, Brownie, that you always look at is going to keep re-energizing itself because of all the quad one wins and losses. Because didn't Mark Gottfried one year take a 17-15 Alabama team to the tournament because of the schedule he played?
He did.
And I think that's what's happening here.
The year before, they had played nobody out of conference, and they had a really good record. I want to say they got ended up with 24 wins,
24-6, I think.
Was that? And that counted like their NIT, I believe. And he was like, okay, well, then if I just need to play a tough schedule, I'll play a tough schedule. And the next year they had 17 wins. They're like, that's what we wanted you to do. We wanted you to play a tough schedule.
Well,
they put them in the
your
tournament.
crappy record in.
That's right.
Good record out.
Yeah, the tough schedule now is just playing a regular 18-game
That's right.
Regular season schedule in the SEC. I heard Ryan Brown's favorite ex-coach Tom Crean on this morning.
I like Crean.
And he was talking about, this SEC thing is real. Yeah. We're not making a big deal. I know, the football conversation, SEC has held on to that power conversation for a long time, and I think it is real too. But, in the moment right now, in college hoops where we are, this is head and shoulders the best conference.
I think Oklahoma will be thrilled not to have to play a game in this state again this year, assuming they don't play at UAB or some way. Yeah. 107-79 Alabama beat them. 98-70 Auburn beat them in this state. I wonder if you took Oklahoma fan and said, you're one in the conference, you're going to beat both Alabama and Auburn in football, and they're both going to beat you by 20-plus in basketball.
You would have taken that.
You would have taken it, but I don't think you would have believed it.
You wouldn't have believed it, no.
If you're Oklahoma, you don't know where you are. That's a great athletic program for a long time. But you don't know where you are in football. You don't know where you are in basketball. Just a year ago, Alabama had the best duo they've ever had in Nick Saban and Nate Oates. I still think Alabama's in a really good spot with Kalen DeBoer and Nate Oates. I think Auburn's in a really good spot with Hugh Freeze, very important year coming up, and Bruce Pearl. But if you're Oklahoma, is Porter Moser the future of this basketball program? Is Brent Venables really the future of this Oklahoma football program? If I'm an Oklahoma fan right now, I'm just like, damn, what is going on? We made this transition. We're making a ton of money.
Even Texas feels more fixed and better situated after the transition.
I think they have concerns about basketball, but they feel fine in football.
But I think they've always, like in basketball, they're like, damn, outside the Chris Beard moment, they've always underachieved in basketball. So Rodney Terry's kind of an unknown right now. But, I think Texas feels really good about where they are in football. You at least, if you're one of these alpha programs, you want to at least feel really good about one sport or the other. But Oklahoma, man, they're lost in the woods.
Yeah. Tim, if you can give me cut number 1, please. Bruce Pearl last night. When you talk about this Auburn team, you just start. They can shoot it sometimes. They missed. They were 2 of 12 from 3 after Miles hit the first one out of the gate. They struggled a little bit from 3 last night, but it didn't matter because of what Bruce talks about here. They, even if they're not scoring at a high rate, their defense can just smother you. Here's Bruce Pearl.
Listen, Oklahoma is an outstanding offensive team. They really are. Those numbers bear out. They're not an elite defensive team. They just don't have enough size. And so I wouldn't make too much about what we did offensively, other than the fact that I thought we shared it. And, but the fact that we held them under, that to me, that would be the story of the fact that we made a really good offensive team. And, with the exception of maybe foul, they made 27, they made 18 baskets. Pretty good defense.
Yeah, it was the block shots, the steals, the hustle, just such good basketball last night from Auburn against Oklahoma in that win.
He basically said their defense sucks.
Yeah, he did. They're not elite now. They're 69th at the KenPom. I just looked. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Don't mind the fact that we scored 98 on this team.
Yeah, ignore that.
Well, you talk about their defense. Like basically the only way they scored was from the free throw line.
69th in KenPom.
Yeah.
That's where they are defensively. So if that's not elite, there's 300 some odd teams. Boy, you better be good. If Auburn looks at that and says that's not an elite defense, which it's not. 69 is not elite defense.
Yeah. Where's Alabama's again?
40. I'll have to look after last night. I don't know if they moved up or not, but it's above that. Yeah, Alabama is 40, right at 40. They're creeping up. I don't know if they could close the gap, but they're creeping up on Taylor's KenPom graphic.
I'll just take you into Alabama basketball Twitter real quick when we talk about that. They say that we are not considering style of play, or the metrics don't consider style of play there?
Pace. I mean, Alabama plays at a higher pace, so teams are going to get more possessions against Alabama. That's just.
I thought this was adjusted defensive efficiency, which I think does take into account pace. But maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think it does.
I don't want to get Bama Twitter upset about it.
No. There is you've already done that to Auburn Twitter once this week. There is a way, I think, if you're a member of Ken Palm, you could adjust it for pace. I am not a Ken Palm member.
Yeah.
So I cannot do that.
Well, what's the price on that? I could drop
$24.95 for the year.
Yeah, I'd rather have Paramount Plus.
Yeah. I was going to say I could drop one of my streaming services. If it was $9.99.
Do you think that's one of those rocket whatever? 80% of adults don't know what subscriptions they've got.
Yeah.
I've got Ken Palm.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
Well, Maggie and I just over the holidays.
Back when Syracuse was good.
Maggie and I just over the holidays found out we each had. I think it was Paramount, because that's where Landman was.
You
right?
both had it.
Yeah, we both had it.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what's the? I had to log back in on the Paramount, and she was like, well, it's Maggie blah 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 at gmail.com, and I said, no, it's in my account. It's under my name, Jim Dunaway Sports at gmail.com, and she goes, baby, I'm looking at it right here. And I said, we may have two.
Yes.
And we did. We were paying for two.
Do you think you and Maggie have ever been on the same page financially?
Nope. But, we have a good time.
That's all that matters.
Speaking of a good time.
You take that good time to the grave. You can't take that money to the grave, Jimmy D.
Speaking of a good time, and I don't want to be Jimmy Downer here.
Oh, boy.
But I just want to ask the question, because I was there last night, and I saw it percolating all night long. And I will say this up front. Oklahoma was about as cheap shot, dirty, smack-talking, bad basketball team I've ever seen. Usually if you talk that much crap,
you win,
and throw that many elbows, or, come over somebody's back really hard and knock them down and then talk crap to them. And the Fears kid, I mean, he's got a little Jim Dunaway schmarmy in him, how he's not been punched between the nose, right, or between the eyes. On the court, I don't know, but that Fears kid last night was just wanting to get punched by somebody. So I say all that up front, and please make sure if this goes out that is included, Taylor. That I would have thrown a punch probably last night.
Right.
But seeing it escalate to what was basically a fourth grade stick your tongue out at the opponent technical foul on Chad Baker-Mazara that ended up being a common foul, then a technical foul that had him go to the bench with about 9 minutes left in the game. Did anybody have any PTSD over Yale last year? Is there a concern that such a vital part of what Auburn can be rose to that level again last night?
I thought it was really interesting in our conversation with Stephen Pearl yesterday, where he talked about that Bruce Pearl allows this team to play with an edge. Like, he allows his guys to kind of play in their personality. And that's a double-edged sword. It can and listen, that's not the only thing in basketball or football that could get you beat. Each coach does it different ways, right? But that's a double-edged sword. Like, when you've got emotional guys and you allow them to play with emotion, it can occasionally boil over. It was the reason they lost to Yale last year. The reason, period, end of sentence. They beat Yale with Chad Baker-Mazara in that game.
Didn't the coaches tell us afterwards that most of the game plan was the mismatch they had with Chad Baker-Mazara?
I don't know.
And I think I remember that
they did.
That was the post-game comment. We had so much of the game plan was the Chad Baker-Mazara mismatch we had on the Yale guys that when he went out, we quickly were adjusting.
Yeah, but that's your concern when you allow guys to play with emotion. You can't have a situation in a game with a better opponent than Oklahoma where you pick up your fourth and fifth foul on the same play. I mean, that's disastrous.
I do think the scary thing is, the last three outings, they've won these games by double digits, but once you get into the tournament, you're going to have one-possession games night in, night out, even in first-round matchups against – inferior competition like Yale. Now, you don't have a KD Johnson this year.
Right.
That's a little different.
Yeah. Talking about a ticking time bomb.
Right.
Yeah. But to your point is the personality. It's why last year I picked them to win the tournament. I thought they had a swagger coming out of Nashville that they continue to have. They play with a lot of mustard. They will, especially when they're at home, they will celebrate going to the bench with the student section, and it really gets revved up in there. And
Cardwell plays to the camera. He plays to the fans. I mean, and I got no problem with that.
No. I mean, it can be a huge advantage for your team.
Well, I mean, I think it's just emblematic of what Bruce Pearl believes in. And as Steve had said, he's always done this. There's nothing new with him. He's always allowed his big personalities to be big personalities and his emotional guys to be emotional guys. And that's his coaching philosophy, and it's difficult to argue with the number of wins that Bruce Pearl has. He's got a Final Four on his resume.
85 Bears. A lot of dynamic personalities.
Yeah.
One of the greatest NFL teams of all time.
And quite the comparison.
Well, I'm not comparing the teams. What I'm about to say is an even bigger comparison. But
some of that.
And what I'm about to say is an even bigger comparison. And let me say on the front end, I am not saying these teams are anything alike other than what we're talking about here.
I know where you're going.
Big personalities that the coach let be big personalities, and it blew up occasionally, but it worked, and it's the 96 Bulls. That's not where you thought I was going.
I was going to say the Miami Hurricanes in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, that by and large worked. Now, I'm not saying Auburn's the 96 Bulls or the 85 Bears or the 80s Hurricanes.
Well, and this is a
context,
one-off, too. I guess the 85 Bears, well, they kind of were. I mean, they only won one championship.
But I'm saying this team, they entertain the crowds. And when they're on the road, they have no problem playing the villains. And I think that can help you as long as you don't cross that line. Up to the line. When Chad Baker-Mazara is guarding you, I mean, that guy is in your back pocket, and he pisses you off because he is so high energy. I mean, when Chad Baker's on you, there's no just dribbling it up the floor. You're having to work your ass off every time.
I mean, just that one turnover where we just hung back and picked the inbound
crouching
pass.
tiger.
Yeah.
He shot an air ball.
That's right.
And everybody else went back. He went crouching tiger, basically behind another Oklahoma player waiting for the little lazy pass, and he came out of nowhere, stole it.
It's amazing how often that happens, too.
Yeah. I mean,
how often guys are just lazy with the inbound. They're just not looking.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you get. And I think the Yale thing, and again, if we send out any on this, make sure this is included. I think the Yale thing is such a one-off and a technical foul in last night's situation. I think they were looking to throw one at Auburn at some point.
They were trying to get control of the game.
To make up for one they threw on, I forget which one, number 0. Maybe that was Fears early on. The refs like to leave the court with close to the same number of fouls called, close to the same number of technicals and that thing. I sort of think him playing on the edge is an advantage, and I wouldn't raise too big of a concern. But in our chat last night, there were a couple of legit Auburn fans with Auburn avatars that were like, "Oh, come on now, we got to be more mature than let this happen again."
It'll be a double tech that bounces in from the tournament now.
You can't, not this year.
I just that can get you beat in Tuscaloosa against Alabama.
Well, that's where we went last night. We'll have plenty of time next week to talk about this. My fear is that this thing's going to be wrapped so tight from both sides. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the players, the teams. This thing's going to be wrapped so tight. I hope it's a really high quality basketball game with no crap around it, no technicals, no pushing, no shoving.
And that could get you beat
chair
there.
throwing.
Auburn, no chair throwing, I would hope.
No table breaks.
Auburn closes the season before they host Alabama at Texas A&M and at Kentucky. Yeah. It's actually at Kentucky and at Texas A&M. Yeah, it could get you beat in a place like that. I mean, it's not going to get you beat at home against Oklahoma. You're a much better team than them. But, I mean, you just can't – I mean, it's stuff like if I let you play to the edge, you can't go over the edge. But I think sometimes when you're a coach that lets a guy play to the edge, occasionally you don't mind him going over the edge, right?
Well, they're going to go over the edge if they play close to the edge.
If I let him play close to the edge, and that's the way I think he plays best, I got to take it if he goes over the edge a little bit.
That's exactly right. You just don't want it to be the Yale game like it was last year. Well, you can take a technical in a game because it's an advantage the way he plays. It's an advantage. And his personality. Those guys have such great chemistry. They even after they're on the bench being subbed out for the rest of the night, they're cutting. They have a little running joke. I don't know what it is, but they were popping each other on the side of the head and with towels and slapping each other's back and laughing and having a good time over on the bench. It's It's an interesting basketball team. It's the best team in the country right now, and they had no problem with Oklahoma, perceived tournament team right now, last night at home. And they get Florida this weekend. We'll talk about that game a little bit later in the show. One more basketball note involving Auburn and Alabama, and those two games coming up in just a second. But our friends at Johnson RV are there for you as we're starting to get to the great weather. A little tease here this week and just how great the weather is, especially this time of year. To get a new Johnson RV or one of the quality used ones out on the road in 2025.
Absolutely it is, and they loved their time up there at the Huntsville show. It went so well. They want to thank everyone. You can come see them at the Birmingham show at the BJCC. Coming up on Valentine's Day is when it starts. It goes through the 16th at the BJCC. But listen, all the show deals they've got, you get at both their locations, like payments starting as low as $129 a month with approved credit. Great selection right now. Travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and much more. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Brownie, while you look this up, just whatever service you want to go to, just look for ticket prices February 15th in massive Coleman Coliseum. And if you also can, pull up, see if there's any available for that March whatever game down at Neville between Alabama and Auburn. Because the coffee guy this morning, Grady, he was like, I got on there and looked, and they were going for $1,000 a pop.
You're getting at ATIX. You're getting at ATIX in Section Z, which is...
This is Coleman Coliseum.
This is Coleman. Corner baseline. I'm trying to determine if that's facing bench or opposite bench.
Yeah, corner baseline may be obstructed view at Coleman. There's a few. I mean, seriously, there's a few seats at Coleman.
Are there really?
I don't think you get the full lane. I do believe there's a couple of those.
Now this is from Dunaway. Remember, he was behind the bench and he was bitching about those tickets.
Row one. What's your guess on get in? Corner end zone get in.
I will say 340.
I'll go 500.
ATIX, y'all are on either side. ATIX get in 444 per ticket. Section Z, row 33. That sounds pretty high and pretty corner.
Boy, that is a lot for a regular season basketball game.
444 for that one right now. Let's go to
for two teams that are locks for the NCAA tournament. The outcome of that game
means nothing
unless you're just all into the SEC regular season race, which I guess everybody is.
Standing room only is all they've got available right now at Neville because that game's so far away. The tickets haven't really hit the market yet.
And for those that don't know, there is a standing rail, which I think on level 2, but I don't think you get the rail. I think somebody has tickets for the standing rail. I think
you're standing behind the standing.
And I do know standing room only on level 3 where we are in the media. People stand behind Taylor and me in standing room only, and if I lean this way, they lean that way. And if I lean this way, they lean that way. And for the big games, there are people doing that at Neville Arena. So what's that price for standing room?
What do you think standing room only is? Auburn and Alabama and Neville.
I'm going to go 500.
I would go 375.
$699. $700 for standing room only.
Now that is not even guaranteed. Like you're
guaranteed in, right?
That's right. But it's not even a guarantee you're in the front of the standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just in the only.
Yeah. At that point, you are fighting for space to see the court.
I don't know if I'd pay $700 to stand at my daughter's wedding, much less much less at a college basketball game.
I mean, seriously, I don't think I'd pay $700 to stand anywhere in the Superdome this weekend for the Super Bowl.
Do you know how bad my back would hurt?
The post 9/11 Super Bowl when Tom Brady won his first, I paid $600 for a 50-yard line down low seat.
How much?
$600.
$600.
Yeah. And from our friends at ATIX.
And that wasn't the 1950s.
That was 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a long time ago. And look, there was a lot of unknowns with that Super Bowl. I think people were really fearful with security and all kinds of things. But still, that is a Super Bowl that came down. It's one of the greatest Super Bowls ever.
Yeah. Speaking of Super Bowl, one more first. Right after I tell you about our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Leslie and her board-certified team got me. I'm there now, 179 this morning. Now, part of that is I found out last night driving from golf with our friends at Bentbrook down to Neville Arena. I squeezed in 18 holes and then drove to Auburn.
The full Dunaway experience.
After a quick shower. Kissed Maggie goodnight, woke up, kissed her goodbye, and came to work this morning. But I got 18 holes in, and then I'm driving down to Neville to try to make the 8 o'clock tip in time. And I said, I need to squeeze in a little dinner. And because I'm on Way to Wellness, I didn't want to wolf down fries and a Chick-fil-A sandwich. So I got a nice little market salad with ranch dressing. You know what's hard to eat when you're driving down the interstate at 82 miles an hour?
What were you thinking? I wasn't.
Fantastic. It's a great salad. But I had.
Did you ever think about your carcass on the side of the road with ranch and romaine lettuce all over you?
At least he died skinny.
Impaled with a plastic fork.
I will tell you that Taylor will back this up. She put the number at 17 deers she saw on the way back last night.
Yeah.
I know with my
Not to correct you, but it is deer.
Yeah, deer is the plural of deer.
Okay, I said deers.
Yep.
17 deer. The whole flock of them or herd of them.
I think herd's correct.
That Taylor saw. My old eyes and really probably not paying attention, I saw at least 8 myself. So it's very easy to hit things driving while eating a salad. But it's part of my Way to Wellness experience. 179 today, a planforme.com. They're not paying by the minute, by the way, this Way to Wellness spot. It's a whole story time here.
We're lucky this isn't an in memoriam show today.
No, we're just happy you're doing it live, Dunaway.
Leslie and her board-certified team will take care of you. No contracts, no sign-up fee. First consultation free. Meal replacements, which luckily I had some protein bars since I only ate a quarter of my salad. Protein bars with me last night. And also, they got injection therapies, everything else. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. President Trump, he's the 45th and 47th president. How many guys have we had in the history of the presidency to win an election, then lose an election, and come back and win again?
Ooh, not many.
Is he the first to do that?
He's only the second to serve non-consecutive terms, isn't he?
I think so.
Or he's and was it Coolidge the previous one? Am I right about that?
But he's in rare air having 2 numbers on his presidency, 45 and 47.
Yeah.
He also will become the first sitting United States president ever to attend a Super Bowl. Does that shock anyone?
I was surprised by that, yeah.
Now, I do remember
Grover Cleveland, I'm sorry, Lance, did 2 non-consecutive terms. He was 22nd and 24th, so he did the same thing that President Trump has done. Yeah. So those are the only 2.
These are small things you remember as a kid. Do you remember when the president would call the head coach?
Yes.
In the locker room?
They'd show it on TV.
Yeah.
And he would be on our
that was such a big deal. So that's the only thing that I remember a president, any kind of involvement with a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I guess the last one I remember doing that was Ronald Reagan.
Now, Trump loves to go to these games. Now, Obama used to like to just watch them at home.
And fill out the bracket.
Yeah.
I think he was good. I think one year he did pretty well in his bracket.
But Trump, man, he's all about going.
Yeah, he likes going.
He's the first sitting U.S. president ever to do this, and the security is unbelievable in New Orleans right now. I don't know if you could amp it up even more, but if you're sending a sitting U.S. president, I assume there's even a higher level than what the Super Bowl normally is. If you're sending the commander-in-chief in there.
So you've been to a Super Bowl recently. How bad is the security? Like, compare it to, like, college football playoff.
Not bad at all.
Really?
Very surprising.
Really?
Yep.
I see. I've always heard there's, like, perimeters.
Well, there is. So, like, the last one I went to was Super Bowl 56 in Atlanta. I think that's right. No, 53 in Atlanta. So it was the 13-3. I guess it was Brady's last New England Super Bowl. But you walked in almost like what you would get at a golf tournament with a bunch of pop-up tents.
Right.
And so there's like 4 or 5 different things you've got to go through, but it's not like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like heavy security to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think Alabama and Georgia fans can tell you from that first one President Trump came to in 17.
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz.
And Mercedes-Benz was January of 18, obviously. What that did to that stadium. That was a mess.
The one
I
went to, I've only been to one in New Orleans, and it was the post 9/11. It was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
All I know, and this is our experience because we're members of the media, so we're taking a bag in, but normally you just run your bag through a scanner and you pick it up on the other side of the scanner. In this case, Secret Service was waiting on you at the media entrance, and they took your bag from you.
Yeah, to a different area.
And then, they would put it back out and you just went and picked it up. And some of them had, dog slobber on it. You could tell the dogs had sniffed it and all that.
Yeah, let me say this. I think security was great. So I think what you want as a fan in that experience is you don't want to feel like there's a lot of security. Like, you want to feel secure, but you don't want to be shaken down.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So once I was in, I'll never forget those staring out where the Mercedes-Benz Dome is on some of the streets. Seeing like armored trucks and tanks out there.
Tanks?
Yeah. So you had like the perimeter was very secure, but where you came in, it seemed more like more like a golf tournament.
Yeah. But rings of security. And we've seen it when President Trump has come to Tuscaloosa, for those that have gone to the games there. But he'll be the first U.S. sitting president to go to a Super Bowl.
Stunned at that, really.
Only 3 vice presidents have ever gone. Sitting vice presidents.
Do you have the names?
Yep.
Dan Quayle?
Nope.
Oh, I'm out.
Last one to do it was Al Gore, 1994.
Okay.
So he saw the Cowboys win one.
Yeah, I knew you'd come up with this. maybe
Beat the
running,
Bills.
maybe a running theme here.
Okay.
Vice President Bush in 82.
82 would have been the Redskins.
Gotta be
Yeah,
the
Redskins over the Dolphins.
Yep. And then this one, I think you've already said this team once. And then Agnew in 71. Wasn't that the Cowboys?
Not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Or was that a Colts over the Cowboys?
Roger Staubach coming up in 4 downs.
Have you ever studied Spiro T. Agnew any? He's a fascinating guy.
Tonight. That's my read.
I listened to
My grandmother hated him. That's all I know.
I listened to a podcast about Spiro Agnew, and he got caught up in a controversy from when he was governor of Maryland, I think it was.
What was his vice?
He was taking payoffs.
Okay.
He did a big construction thing and was getting payoffs.
So he's in politics.
Yeah, he was in politics. And it gets uncovered back home, and it's going to take him down. And he's Nixon's vice president, right? And this is right as Watergate has just started to occur. So Agnew goes to Nixon's higher ups. He's like, guys, I got some bad news for you. This is percolating back in Maryland, and it's going to bring me down. I need you guys to get involved. And they basically told him, buddy, we ain't getting involved for you. We got our own set of problems, and we're going to save every bit of political capital we have for that. Yeah. You're on your own. And so basically Agnew just got hung out to dry by the Nixon administration. It was his own doing, but he got hung out to dry and then, had to leave office.
Was Nixon a Republican or a Democrat? I can't remember.
Nixon's a Republican.
Republican,
yeah. But that was different back then, right? My grandmother, who was very Southern and very Democrat, which I think used to be very conservative here in our state back in the day, right? The Democrats in the 70s.
Yeah, it flipped.
She did not like Nixon or Agnew.
Yeah.
So
Nixon was, he was obviously incredibly paranoid. He was in a race he was going to win in a landslide.
Yep.
And was just so paranoid that, he couldn't just accept that. I don't know. I assume they had polling like we do now. He won that race in an absolute landslide. There was no reason to.
I would say the polling back then probably a little more inexact than it is now.
Yeah, it involved this, Brownie.
What? Yeah. Hello?
Hey.
Is your husband home? I ain't talking to you.
Can I speak to the man of the house, please?
The guy that's actually going to vote.
And it was a girl calling every time.
Who are you voting for president of the United States? Thank you. It would take.
You think
anybody an hour to poll 6 people?
You think anybody having an affair back then, like the woman on the phone acted like if the wife of the house answered the phone?
You act like
this
a
is
pollster?
this is a polling service.
Yeah.
I need to speak to the man of the house.
Hey, I'm calling for Hormel. Do you ever cook your husband beefy chili from Hormel? Oh, that's a great cover-up, LT. That's a good phone.
Well,
line
you had to work with something you had back then.
That's right. You had to know the lay of the land, so to speak.
That is a good old school phone line.
I'm really surprised that this is the first president to ever go to a Super Bowl. It's such a big event.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And how does that work? My ex-wife used to be in the hotel industry, and so they always they can say they're booked out, maximum occupancy, but they have rooms set aside for certain situations, like for a Super Bowl where you're maxed out on tickets, and that takes, how many people is Trump bringing with him in detail and everything?
Ton.
Yeah, but he won't stay overnight. He'll fly in, fly out.
No, but I'm just talking about set up in stadium.
The advanced team has to. And New Orleans hotels have been sold out for a while. I can tell you why a president never goes, because the game's in February, and it used to be in January. They've already been elected by then. They don't have to go to, try to steal votes or get votes or, whatever phrase you want to use there. Steal was probably a bad one. They've already been elected. They're not going to campaign.
No, but I do.
I would go if I was a president.
Well, I like the fact that it could be something with, we are on high alert when it comes to New Orleans right now, just based on what we saw New Year's Eve.
And tourism is such a big.
Yeah, and I just think, Trump's saying, hey, look, I'm going to be there.
That's right. It's a safe place to go.
This is our biggest sporting event as Americans.
Safe, yeah.
There's also going to be an interview at halftime, right? I mean, not a live one, but a recorded one that's going to air.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. I believe there is.
He did one during
the game's on Fox.
Yeah, he did one during the national championship game.
Yeah.
ESPN aired an interview, so perhaps there will be.
I don't think we've seen a Tom Brady one-on-one with Donald Trump before.
I don't recall one.
No. I
or get Tom Rinaldi, make him cry.
My supper club, all the little kids from our supper club that have grown up and are Auburn students now, and I forget the number we have there, but it's over 6 and under 11.
Okay, it's a big gap.
Our supper club has a lot of kids at Auburn right now, and they just had a formal sorority fraternity formal in New Orleans, and they came back and said it was their favorite trip ever to New Orleans. That so clean and so safe. After what happened, unfortunately, before the Sugar Bowl game, that security's amped up on Bourbon
alcohol
Street.
will really cloud your judgment.
Well, I mean,
the murder capital of the world right now.
We learned yesterday. Right?
I felt safe.
If you're in your 20s with a good-looking date at a sorority formal, yeah, it can.
I mean, everything in Razoo looks. I mean, we're at top of the world right now.
It was the clean that surprised me most, not the safe. It was the clean.
I really thought
it's the cleanest I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, before the Super Bowl, I'm sure they've cleaned it as much as they can.
I mean, Brown thinks it is a dirty, disgusting city.
I'm not a huge fan of New Orleans, no.
But I do think after Katrina, it got a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I guess so. I've only been once or twice after Katrina, just for 2 football games.
Super Bowl is Sunday.
Still not a 10-second rule in New Orleans at all.
If you drop it, you don't need it.
No, you keep walking, step over.
It includes a friend, depending on how close he is. If he drops, you just keep walking. All right, so Super Bowl this Sunday, little conversation there. A lot of basketball on Auburn's big win over Oklahoma. We'll get back to basketball later. Some college football when we come back. The show being brought to you by our friends at the Golfist, Brownie.
Yeah, it's a great place to go. It's always 70 degrees, never any wind blowing, never any rain falling at the Golfist. It's Birmingham's best golf simulators. And you can enjoy them for yourself right there on Highway 31 in Vestavia, just off Van Road and Trussville. And they got it coming to 280 soon. They'll be there, I promise you. You could go right now to either one of those 2 locations, though, and play golf all day long. Great time to get out of the office for that boring meeting. Make it a fun meeting for your staff at the Golfist. So get out of the office, get into the Golfist. Great place for parties, watch the games while you play, bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own clubs. You can see everything and book a bay at thegolfist.com. That is thegolfist.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays. It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one, and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Back with you on the Next Round, our friends at New Life Art with great Alabama football moments, including the newest painting from Daniel A. Moore, the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban and his 6 national championships in Tuscaloosa for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Promo code TNR there. You can jump in and get any of the great works from Daniel A. Moore at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. And there's calendars every year with great works and so much more. Just check it all out. danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. Before we get to the spotlight, I did want to bring up one thing. What do we have over there?
No, nothing. I don't know why I thought of this. I saw somebody mention that what if President Trump sat in the same box with the Kelsey family and Taylor Swift? That would break America.
Oh, I would. If
the camera shots of that one.
If you had,
Yes.
after a Travis Kelsey touchdown,
right,
she spun and hugged Donald Trump.
Yes, that might break the internet.
Yeah, I'm not sure Fox News or CNN would know how to report that.
Yes. What do we do with that?
What does that mean?
But it made me think. I would like to know the number of security personnel, not dedicated to the game, but dedicated to protection of an attendee, are actually there Sunday. Because, Taylor Swift will have a small detail.
Yeah.
President Trump will have a large detail. There are tons of celebrities that come in, and they bring their security with them. I mean, there will be a lot of just security personnel there.
I wonder how many, Taylor Swift, but I wonder, being at Super Bowls before, you will see just random celebrities walking around. And
no security?
No security.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Kendrick Lamar, he'll have his.
Some people are already built in, right? I mean, you got to factor in, hey, I've got to leave my security team at home because it's built in. It's the Super Bowl, and there's perimeters of security. You got to leave some of the folks home in this situation.
I guess
right?
so.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean, even like Taylor Swift, she might have 1 or 2 with her.
Yeah, I've seen video from when she shows up at Kansas City games. Now that's not a Super Bowl, obviously, but she's got a detail with her, and they're doing the whole everybody back.
Yeah, I wanted to point this out before we get to our McCurry spotlight today. The Pac-12, still with that name, trying to come back. They need one more full football playing FBS school to be eligible in 2026 when they're coming back to be a conference. Right now, their conference is Oregon State, Washington State, Boise, Fresno, Colorado State, San Diego State, Utah State, Gonzaga for basketball and other sports, but they don't play football, so that gets them to 8 for basketball. But the big news yesterday, which could help them and makes you wonder why this couldn't have gotten done earlier, ESPN, Fox, and CBS said they're all open to media rights deals with the Pac-12. and maybe a situation where 2 or all 3 could be broadcasting the future Pac-12 games. Why could we not have gotten that done?
That's a good question.
Back when in USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, and all those teams were together.
Yeah, there was no urgency, and a lot of this was blamed on Larry Scott and how bad he mishandled the television situation. Is Sacramento State not in the mix?
Yeah, I was about to ask you, are they the football team that they could go get?
I mean, why would you not? I mean, based on what we've heard about the resources they've got.
In the story I read, it said they need one more full FBS football playing school. That would not qualify for that yet.
I think they're moving.
Maybe
but, yeah.
they would have to go ahead and go into the transition mode.
Yeah.
I assume that would also apply for North Dakota State if they wanted to go
Right.
that route or something like that.
You know, there were several Saturdays, though. You guys know this, where I've got 3 TVs. Lance has got more than that. You've got 3 Dunaway. There weren't 3 football games on late.
No, not at all.
There were several Saturdays like that.
This was the worst late window we've ever seen.
And this is not a super exciting conference, but if that conference said, all right, we're always going to give you a 9 o'clock East Coast game, which would be 6, 7 out there, whatever the time they want to do it. I mean, heck, I'm going to watch it. I mean, if it's Utah State and Boise State, that's a game. I mean, I'm going to have it on my TV, you know?
Yeah, I just personally love that late night game, and I wish the Big Ten would work on their scheduling to where they give us a marquee Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA game in that window every week. I think the TV numbers would back it up instead of cluttering it in other parts of the day. It can't be the biggest game with the big noon kickoff and all that. But
we bitch about games that kick at 11 o'clock, at 2:30, at 6 o'clock, not being great games. I don't think we've ever bitched about a 9 o'clock, like what you've got.
Nope,
as long as you've got something there, we'll take it.
If you've got Fresno and San Diego State and you've got San Jose State playing Utah State, we're not revved up, but we're satisfied. We're sitting there on the couch ending our day.
Yeah, you just don't want to go to bed on a Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I rarely, if ever, turn off my TVs on Saturday night and say, well, that was enough.
Until the last game.
No. I'm saying when I turn my TVs off, I'm like, if there was another game on, I would stay up and watch it. I am not full right now.
No, I 100%.
So that's what I'm saying. If there was a game that went to 3 a.m, I'd say, okay, I'll fight through it and stay up and watch it.
Before we do the spotlight, give me our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day, lanceslock.com. He's already told you he had Auburn giving 17.5, boatload of points, easy winner last night. We got some fun basketball again tonight, lanceslock.com.
Yeah, 13 plays up today, 2 in the NBA, 11 in college hoops. Big college slate tonight. Jump on board. Free play up right now and available. lanceslock.com. $100 gets you everything all month long. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
The College Football Spotlight
is presented each day by McCurry Van and Car Rental, the local rental company you can depend on. SUVs, passenger vans, trucks, the big moving van. They got it all right there, and you can get them all over North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve that rental today, 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com.
You know, I think the most frustrating thing in college basketball is going to the monitor so much right now.
I didn't notice last night. Did they do it much in the Auburn game?
If you're going to look and see if somebody punched somebody in the chest, I understand it, but sometimes we go too much. Sometimes you just take the call. Maybe it's the wrong call, but let's just take the call and just move on.
Yeah.
In football, college football, the most frustrating thing is fake injuries. And as we speak right now, Brownie, Chris Vanini of The Athletic is reporting the Rules Committee is actually meeting as we speak, and they have something in the works that could be ready to go for the 2025 football season, the next college football season. What is it?
Well, and I've already thought of a bit of an issue in this, just since I told you this morning, okay?
Maybe they've already, the latest update I hear maybe fix your
okay, we'll see. It appears, Lance, that the idea with the most support among the coaches on the Rules Committee is if the game has to stop for your injury, you're out the remainder of the drive. You can use a timeout to get a player back in, so any timeout and the player can come back in. But without a timeout.
What about the opposing team calls timeout?
That's a great question. I haven't read through that. That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'll see if I can find it. But you can call a timeout, I do know, to get your player back in. There is a carve-out for the quarterback, which you really don't have to worry about. The quarterback's never going to fall down to stop a play.
That's what it is. Quarterbacks would be exempt.
Here's all I would say on the obvious flaw in this. And this helps a lot of things. But if I'm playing an offense, they hit a deep ball down to the 3, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, I'm going to tell my guy to fall down still. Because if he's only out the rest of the drive, the ball's on the 3. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on who that guy is.
Well, yeah. I mean, normally you're not going to take a star out. Sometimes we've seen it.
If it's KC, you don't want,
Yeah, I don't want Chris Jones falling down. But you see what I'm saying, right? If there's a pass down to the 3, and I want to keep that defense in the game. So my offense, I'm like, guys, get on the ball, let's go. You can still get a player to fall down.
I usually play with 6 to 8 to 9 defensive linemen. I can get one to fall down. He can be out the rest of that short field, but I get a fresh group of big guys in.
Yeah, and what's it hurt? Because we're down there. We're down there on the 3. This drive is only 4 more plays, no matter what happens, right? It's only 4 more plays.
And I need to substitute, get the big guys in anyway.
Yeah, so this is the obvious flaw in this. It's not going to fix that. Coaches can still utilize that. But, I mean, it is a step in the right direction if you don't like players falling down and stopping the game.
Well, you can't do it. I mean, you're not going to eliminate all of them.
No.
That's one, but how many times are we inside the 10? Usually it's the completed pass, from the 28 to midfield, and somebody's falling down.
Yeah.
This is really the only way you can do this.
It is. So I'm all for this. I hope it passes today. Coach challenge replays. Fewer overtime timeouts in the 2-point shootout realm.
I wanted to address that one because this reared its head in the Georgia Tech game when they went to, was it 8 overtimes? So they had 6 2-point conversion periods. Is that right?
Yes.
Was that 8 overtime game? And Kirby was letting, get to the line of scrimmage, quarterback under center. They're about ready to go timeout. He did it. I think every one of those 2-point conversion overtimes, Kirby did that.
Because he was able to see their lineup, their
That's
play,
right. He was able to see their alignment, see their personnel, and make adjustments there. I would be okay if you had 0 timeouts in the 2-point conversion period. Why do you need a timeout there? You're running one play. You just came off the sideline. You're running one play. I would be fine if they just eliminated timeouts altogether there.
Well, and it's almost like, hey, before we go down, this is the 2-point. Like, if we score, this is what we're running. You should know that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, no, this is only an overtime, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is only an overtime. So I'm saying if you get to overtime, that first overtime, second overtime, you got a timeout. Once we get to the 2-point conversions, there are no more timeouts. It's on you to get the right guys on the field and have the play called. And defense, it's on you to watch the sideline and see who they're sending in and match. We'll hold the play while you match. They're going to do that anyway.
Okay, can we not
there's no timeouts.
Change sides of the field, by the way?
I would agree 100% with you on that. Once we get to the 2-point conversion, we're playing on this end zone.
Yeah.
If you lost the toss, you get to pick the end zone. We play however you want to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you are so adamant that your student section is going to be so important in this overtime period, then you defer and let them choose whether they want the ball or not, so you can choose the side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-point conversion. So, I'm 100% with you. Let's speed that thing up as much as possible. So, I would say no timeouts at the 2-point conversion period and no field swaps in the 2-point conversion period either.
The instant replay coach challenge discussion from Chris Vanini, among the other rules topics, the possibility of moving to a coach challenge model like the NFL. Every play not under review, where you go stoppage under. You would go like the NFL, where we'd have a challenge, a flag to throw like you do in the NFL. Your thoughts on that? In college, for those that don't know, every play's reviewed. We don't always stop. We don't always stop. Sometimes we do stop. A lot of times we'll stop. And we'll run over there and we'll do a review and we'll come back and we'll play. The NFL model doesn't do that. Sometimes it's an obvious 1 yard short, but you don't want to challenge it right there because you're going to need those challenges.
Well, and there's
later on.
done a lot of these challenges. I think, I was going through props earlier this morning for Super Bowl 59, and the over-under right now for challenges, coaches' challenges, is a half.
Yep.
You know,
why do you think college coaches have been against this? It's not the first time it's brought it up.
I don't think they want to have to make another critical decision.
That's exactly right.
I don't think they want the
burden
criticism
of the challenge on them.
And on top of that, if every play is in fact reviewed, unless there's a hurry up, like if there's a normal time between plays and they don't stop it, why would I challenge it?
But that is interesting because most of these guys are control freaks, but they don't want the control to have to do that.
Yeah.
But that is the only legitimate reason why you don't have it or why you wouldn't want it.
Well, like, I mean, if it's close on a first down and they have to look at it, or no, let's don't even say that. If it's close on a catch, no catch, and they come up and they talk for a second, they rule it a catch, and then you've got a normal time between plays and they don't stop it, why would I challenge it? I mean, I know replay's already looked at it, and it's not anywhere close in their mind because they're not buzzing down to stop it, right? And you think my guy in the booth has seen a better view than what the replay has seen? Enough to tell me, Coach, let's challenge this? I mean, so the coach's challenge, if you're going to review every play, is a little superfluous, honestly. So what they're saying is they're no longer reviewing every play?
It's being proposed that they would go to the NFL model of replay, where not every play would be reviewed. It would be scoring plays, turnovers, and then you'd have to challenge it was his foot in
catch,
or not
no
in.
catch, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The expedited review would help a lot. That's the thing the NFL gets right, where the ref they barely even stop the game. He comes on and says, after expedited review, the pass has been ruled incomplete.
Don't we do that a little bit in the SEC?
I think so. Yeah. I'm not real sure.
Replay assistant says he's out of bounds on the 39.
Yeah.
Don't we do that?
Yeah. We don't.
Is that an NFL bleed over in my brain?
I can't remember. We don't need to stop the game. And the official have to run all the way to the other end of the field. Yeah. Why we don't have one on each end of the field blows me away too, by the way.
Yeah, Birmingham has expedited the review. First down, Alabama.
It kills me. They're all the way down on the 20. I got that first down, Alabama. That's well done. You're all the way down on the 20. The other replay's back on the other 20. For some reason, that guy can't pick up the little camera on a stick and walk to the other end of the field.
Yeah.
So we're down there on the 20. And
hell, it's $150. Can we have two little small monitors on a stick?
We have to stop the game, and the guy has to run all the way down there, and we go to commercial. Yeah. Let's speed this whole thing up, man.
Or most stadiums, why don't we just put it up there and let them look at the big – they're doing it anyway.
That's what they did in Texas.
Yeah, just glance up there, replay it up there. We can all watch it together. We're like –
yeah, Texas, Georgia, they were like, boy, we screwed that one up.
That is a catch.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Those are the rule changes. There is one more. You talk about instant reaction to gray areas that you never think of until it pops up. Where's your memory of this?
The Iron Cross, Brett Bielema and Shane Beamer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Recognized as we're not going to return the kick.
Right.
Play, basically.
First time I'd ever heard that.
Yeah.
Well, but I've seen guys do it, but in the game – everybody thought he was making fun of Shane Beamer for complaining about that they weren't stopping for substitutions.
Yeah, but no,
that's what they thought in the game. That's what they thought that Bielema was mocking Beamer for that. It wasn't not until the post game we learned what the story was.
Yeah, that found out that they got this, and then they actually returned the kick.
That's right, and Bielema thought that was Bush League.
Yeah,
and Beamer said it was legal.
Steve Shaw says they are considering making that like a fair catch signal. That if you go to the tee, is what it's called, the tee, that's basically your
kick is dead.
The kick is dead. You're calling a fair catch at that point. No return.
Now, Beamer said, I told the officials before the game we were going to do it, and they said it is legal. Bielema did not like that, obviously. Yeah. He came over and mocked him, and Beamer had to be held back. Were y'all watching that game when it happened?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking Bielema 7 days a week.
Oh, Bielema would have squashed him. But I wanted to see the post-game handshake, and it was actually really cordial. Like, I thought they might, because that was late enough in the game, I thought they might still have words.
National Signing Day happening over the next few days, and the last remaining five-star unsigned player for this class, Ty Haywood, earlier today, big defensive lineman picked Michigan over anybody else that wanted him. So he is on his way to Michigan, a big get there for this recruiting class. We'll have more.
They're spending money.
Yeah, Michigan's back in the game, aren't they?
Yeah.
When we come back, I'll ask you, is Ohio State poised to be this year's Michigan? Coming off a national championship and losing a lot. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Alabama's quarterback battle and the guy that's rated as the best available player in the transfer portal. He's available, sort of, when we come back on the show that's being brought to you today by our friend Dr. B. It's got LT's hair and Brownie's hair on the way to greatness.
Yeah, hey, look, if you want to maintain, you want to grow some back, Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. T3 has a new test. It's so easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. You can pick and choose from 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents in pill or topical form. Dr. B has been using this test for over 3 years with amazing results. Stop wasting your money and critical time when you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work. Very simple. Call his amazing staff today. Schedule a consultation. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316. I do that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. For more information, t3hair.net.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, hour number 2. Dan Orlovsky with us in 1 hour to talk Super Bowl. He'll join us. Before you tell us about Odie's Big Trivia Night, Jonte Cook, y'all remember that guy?
NFL player.
With Texas, Jonte Cook.
Texas Longhorns?
Yeah. Did I write the wrong name down?
I could be wrong. Okay, go ahead. I mean, my obvious answer is no, Jim. I don't remember Jonte Cook. Why don't you tell me more?
Well, check that name for me real quick. I want to make sure I get the right name before I get into the story.
Oh, did he get arrested?
Yeah, the guy I wrote down did.
Jonte Cook,
with
Texas receiver.
2 years. Then he went to Washington.
That's right.
For 1 year. And was basically decided to part ways with, what's the coach there at Washington?
Jed Fish.
Jed Fish. Part ways with Jed Fish. He is in jail right now waiting a trial coming up, arrested on property theft. And he's in Texas. In Fort Worth.
What did he steal?
In the lockup. Didn't get the deal on the property, but he's still locked up overnight. He's listed as the number 1 available talent in the transfer portal.
Available in heavy air quotes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
have we ever seen that?
Best way to get on his good side is to bail him out, right? I mean, how's he steal that? If he's...
What is it, Jonte? We've gotten your freedom. Here's what you're going to need to sign for us.
2 years at Texas, but had an issue and Sark sent him packing. Jed Fish kept him for a couple of games and decided to part ways with him. And if you're Jed Fish rebuilding that roster at Washington, you had to part way with a guy that's being listed as the top available talent in the portal. Something must have gone wrong there. So here's Jonte. He's got to deal with some legal issues, but he's the top available talent in the portal according to 24/7. Will somebody take a chance on a guy who
you got to convince the state of Washington to extradite him to your state?
Yeah, somebody will take a chance.
He's in Texas, so it's the state of Texas.
He can be released on, I'm taking ownership. He can be released.
Yeah, he's in Fort Worth, so I guess TCU, SMU, he could still make it back for lockup after practice if he needed to. I don't think I've ever seen that the best available talent in the portal is actually a guy who
is in jail.
Yeah. Can you play with an ankle monitor?
I don't think it's been done.
Yeah, I think that would be his work release, right?
Yeah, work release to go bring home a championship for somebody. I don't know if he gets a third chance like at a program at Texas or Washington, but we'll see.
Have you guys ever known somebody that's had the ankle bracelet?
I have not.
I had a couple of clients, and they had to come up and meet me at Jack's one time, and they both had their ankle bracelets on.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Cash in advance.
And I've seen somebody like randomly. I was down on the coast, the Gulf of America, and I was sitting poolside, and there was a dude that had the ankle bracelet on.
Do you guys
poolside? Yeah.
Do you guys not remember the dinner we had together downtown?
Oh yeah, at the sushi place.
Yeah, at the sushi place, and the gentleman, was next to us, and his ticket came. And he reaches down in his ankle area, pants pulled up, and pulls a wallet out of something. And y'all saw it was an ankle bracelet. And I'm like, who would keep their wallet in their ankle bracelet? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
It's got to be pretty secure. It's not going anywhere.
That's a good point.
I
don't know what kind of space there is in there.
People would stay away from the ankle bracelet.
You know what exactly would happen for me? I would see one in the wild and think it's a new Apple product, and I would have Jimmy FOMO.
I got to have one.
I got to have one of those Apple Watches. One of those Apple ankle bracelets.
I could say I had to get one quick.
Yeah. All right. Odies tonight for trivia. If you want to see these guys have this kind of conversation in public and talk trivia and have fun tonight, they're at Odies.
Odies Team Trivia, we do it every Wednesday night. The original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Great food from Rodney Davis, both locations. From the delicious sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich, great chili this time of year, award-winning wings, fantastic burgers, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light, those Odies famous cocktails. Stop in. See us tonight. We'll get started a little after 8 o'clock. It's Odies Team Trivia. 2 locations, the original Crestline, newest location in Edgewood, Birmingham Institution, Odies Tavern.
Here's why Ohio State is not Michigan. They too are losing about 46% of their production. They didn't lose their head coach, but you lost both coordinators like Michigan. So there is some comparison. Michigan, sort of fell off from their national championship. They were better at the end, beating Ohio State and Alabama, but early on they were struggling. Ohio State and Ryan Day has to replace coordinators. They have to replace a lot of talent, Brownie, about 46% of their production.
Offensive line coach.
Yeah, but here's where they're different. We haven't seen him yet, but at least Ohio State has a plan at quarterback. Michigan did not seem to have one, right? Julian Sand, according to everybody, is the next guy. He is him.
Last year, going in, it ended up kind of being Davis Warren, but they thought Alex Orji, such an athletic guy, he's got to be able to throw the football.
Yeah, they didn't let him throw
the football.
Yeah, Julian Sand, so you've got a quarterback plan. Maybe it doesn't work out, Brownie, but at least you have a plan. They didn't have one. Best returning offensive weapon in college football is?
Jeremiah Smith.
Receiver at Ohio State. He's back. Best returning defensive talent in college football.
Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs. He's back. So just there, you keep the head coach, didn't keep Harbaugh, lose both coordinators, you lose 46% of your production, but you got a quarterback plan. Michigan didn't have that. Elite offensive weapon, Michigan didn't have that.
They did not.
Elite defensive weapon, Caleb Downs. Michigan
had that, but it was on the defensive front.
It was on the defensive line.
Yeah, that was where they returned their talent, was on the defensive front. The wild part about Michigan is they were caught flat-footed without quarterback after Harbaugh left, and everybody was
I went first with that one. It's so huge.
Yeah, and everybody was like, well, it's hard to recruit quarterback when your head coach is always talking about going to the NFL, and I get that. But your offensive coordinator is the guy you made head coach. How's he not recruiting quarterback? That's what blew me away.
And it should be so easy with their resources. And obviously, it's no telling what they paid Bryce Underwood. We heard upwards of $10 million. But you go from J.J. McCarthy, you just won a national championship. How easy would it be to go in the portal and get a guy like Cam Ward?
Yeah, because they knew what they had in Alex Orji. They had already had him a full year. And, Lance, how many passes did he throw when he was brought in the national championship season? I think it was 0, right?
Yeah. And
so they knew he couldn't throw already.
And how do you get a guy like, a Sam Levitt at Arizona State?
No, you're asking legitimate questions I don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. That kid can play.
Meanwhile, your key opponent has got Will Howard from the transfer portal, tearing it up for him. It baffles me how they got caught so flat-footed at quarterback after Harbaugh.
Yeah, they got a big recruit there now, and as I said earlier, they got a big recruit today, Ty Haywood, the only remaining 5-star guy out there, picks Michigan. He was the one-time commitment to Alabama, so DeBoer and them knew he was out of that class a long time ago, even before the announcement came. The offensive tackle now is up there with the Michigan Wolverines. Big get for the Wolverines. Today is National Signing Day rolls forward, and that gets us to the big question about Alabama's quarterback battle. You can get the latest conversation with Bama and Bourbon with Aaron Suttles and Lance Taylor. New one out yesterday. You can go check it out. Quarterback is going to be a topic for this Alabama team until we find out if they've got one or not. And it's interesting with Ryan Grubb coming to town. And I think we all said the other day we believe Ty Simpson, it's his job to lose.
He's your favorite. Like, I would make him a minus 175 to minus 200 favorite to take that first snap against
Florida
State.
Right?
Yeah,
So how? Like, what'd you make Jackson Arnold? Just in comparison.
No, I would make Jackson Arnold minus 500.
Okay, that's why I was asking. I knew it'd be heavier.
How close in your conversations with Aaron or anyone else do you think the competition will be with Austin Mack or Keelan Russell? Because I did read at CBSSports.com today that, and I did not know this, but it makes sense, that Ryan Grubb was the top main recruiter for Austin Mack.
He was.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring up Ryan Grubb. I think it is different now just because, Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer did have time on campus with these guys. And a little bit different when you've got Russell coming in now, but they're getting familiar with him right now. I do think Ryan Grubb's going to have clean slate, and he's going to let these guys go out and play. I think in the back of his mind, he does respect the fact that a guy like Ty Simpson has bought his time. But he is familiar with Austin Mack and obviously likes his skill set, and they're going to learn about Russell over the next couple of months. I still think Ty Simpson's going to be your guy. What's fascinating to me is I can't remember the last time Alabama didn't have, at least you can make an argument for a top 10 quarterback coming into the season in college football.
Blake Barnett
and
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts has got to be it.
Yeah, but, that's been almost a decade ago.
Let me rewind a little bit. Do people think Mac Jones was a top 10 quarterback? I don't think they did.
You thought Bryce Young was, and if Mac Jones was going to be that guy, I guess you just trusted Nick Saban where they were in quarterbacks at that particular time.
Or maybe you just knew that receiving core was so good that it was going to be the receivers were going to make any quarterback look good.
Yeah, I feel like under Kalen DeBoer, at times Jalen Milroe was outstanding last year, and then obviously what you've seen from Penix to Jay Kaner, I feel like you're going to have a really good offense. They averaged 34 points per game last year. I think it's going to be even better. But, I know Julian Saban's going to be really good. I know that.
Because he's at Ohio State?
Yeah, just because he's at Ohio State, and, and they've got all of this skill around him. So, he's going to be super productive. It was almost like Will Howard. He was good at Kansas State. How good's he going to be? Well, he better be national championship good, and he ended up being that. I just don't know if you're going to get elite play at quarterback next year for Alabama.
And I'll tell you the other interesting thing in all this staff movement for Alabama is you mentioned the primary recruiter for Austin Mack was Ryan Grubb. The primary recruiter for Keelan Russell was Nick Sheridan. Yeah. So that's what made all of that really interesting. I'm not saying if Nick Sheridan had said, hey, I'm out, or he had gotten fired or whatever, that Russell would leave. But when it's his primary recruiter, it's a guy he's built a relationship with, and he's still around.
Is that an awkward situation for a Nick Sheridan? Nick just seems like kind of the happy-go-lucky, very, very nice guy when we were around him. But it's got to be an awkward situation knowing that a guy that is viewed over you is coming back. I know that's going to be kind of a shared position now, but it's going to be Grubbs.
But I've already done it once, though, at Washington. That's what would at least help, right? That I at least knew what it was. It's just going back to what it was once like. I know it was not like that for a year for me.
But is it kind of tough to figure out your lane at that point?
I'll use us as an example. One thing we went through in life, and maybe, and I don't know what was said behind closed doors, but maybe Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan went into last year knowing that this was a possibility this could happen. That
maybe DeBoer was up front with him all along.
Maybe Grubb would come back.
But you are kind of planning Grubb not having a lot of success if that's the conversation.
But
I think they might have had that conversation a month ago.
We knew at one point,
2 months ago,
that we had to go do the afternoons we knew it was going to be 6 months. We were only going to be there 6 months doing afternoon radio. When Feinbaum was sitting out deciding what he was going to do, we knew eventually we were going to go back to our slot. We went there, and when it was time to go back to our slot, we were happy to go back to our slot, and we knew we were filling in that afternoon slot, which, by the way, turns out that's of all the slots, that's the one I want the least. The whole day is gone.
I think Lance would argue with you on mornings, but I did not like afternoons either.
Middays are where it's at.
It is 100%. Yeah,
for me, it's middays,
mornings, afternoons. I'm with you,
because you end up basically working all day, and who wants to do that?
If we ever went back to mornings, if we ever did that, I would just give up prep.
Yeah.
Give up prep. Okay, I thought you were going to say give up the show.
No, I would just give up prep.
Yeah.
Because, I was having the conversation.
I think I would too.
My man Jace, the other night at dinner, he's like, man, these doubles at walk-ons are killing me. He's like, I got to get up at 9 a.m. And I was like, and I had to tell him the story. For the first year of us doing mornings, I was getting up at 3:45, which is it's not natural.
I cannot tell you why this had the effect on me it did. But when we were doing mornings, I was driving in one morning. I thought of this just randomly yesterday, I think it was. And we were driving in, and for some reason I had on Golick and Wingo. This was after Mike and Mike. It was Golick and Wingo. And they were celebrating the fact that the city had just pulled their stakes up. Do you know what? I didn't know what this meant. So apparently when you live in a place that it snows a lot, the city comes out and they stake out the curb in front of your house so that
never heard this.
So that the snowblower doesn't run up on the curb when he can't see it. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So as he's coming through, the snowblower can see where the curb is. So the city comes out and pulls the stakes up. That means snowy season's over. And I don't know why that impacted me when I was like, God, this is so miserable. I'm driving in, listen to these guys celebrate. They live in such a crappy area. They're celebrating that they pulled the stakes up. And I'm driving in to do morning radio. This just sucks. Like, I was in a crap mood when I got there.
Wow, I've never heard you in a crap mood before.
I know. I don't know why that impacted me so much.
Yeah, but I mean, that was tough. We pull up that hill. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
Like if
drive to work in dark.
If you want to, would you ever pull up and you see that idle car just parked?
Yeah.
You'd be like, damn,
I'd see two sometimes sitting like that.
Yeah, like you pull up on a drug deal in that situation. I mean, it's just easier for them to take you out.
Yeah, we didn't.
Now they've got a police station built there now.
We didn't get to enjoy that. They were just breaking ground when we left on the police station right there. That would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
I was driving by abandoned school, abandoned office building, and abandoned hotels.
I also wondered, from the 6 to 7 o'clock hour, is anybody listening?
I know. When it's still dark and we're talking. Oh.
Yeah.
I remember we had to do the Pat Dye interview at 6:30 in the morning.
I mean, because the reality of the situation is, what percentage of Americans are still in bed between 6 and 7 o'clock? The majority, right?
I don't think so. I think most people are getting up 6 to 7.
I would say most people get up between the 7 and 8 hour.
I really don't know. I don't know how to even judge that. Yeah.
Ain't that important.
What?
Huh?
Oh, I thought Tyler said. Yeah, you're up.
Oh, I didn't know. I think most people are asleep between 6 and 7.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. No, I think most people, I would say the average alarm clock in America goes off at whatever time zone you're in between 6:30 and 7. I'd say 6:30, 6:45 is the average alarm clock.
I think it does depend on the age. I think 40 and above, I think the majority of people are up 6 a.m. plus. But I think under 40, I would think that the 7 o'clock hour is when they.
So I think if you've got a real ass job,
which we don't.
Well, it depends on what time you start that real ass job.
Yeah, most Americans I think are in drive time traffic, which I think said.
Well, I enjoy doing my prep from the house more than I do here. But on certain days, I will get up here earlier.
You came in earlier today.
But I got up here at 8 o'clock today. There's nobody in the parking lot, so
I was.
Well, you were. You're the martyr, man. But outside of you, I'm just saying,
driving straight from Auburn.
95% of the people that work in this building, and this is a pretty large building, they weren't here at 8 o'clock. So if they're not here at 8 o'clock, I'm assuming they're sleeping at least till 7 o'clock.
So you learned it.
That 7 to 8 traffic is hell.
Yeah, it really is. That's why I come in after 8. 7 to 8 on 280 is.
But I would think most people's commute's 30 minutes. 30 minutes to get ready. It's probably right around there. But I would think, anyway, back to it. Between 6 and 7, it seemed like one of those hours that, I don't think you would be fined by the FCC if you said how many words was it for George Carlin? 7?
Yeah. I was talking to a couple that lives in New York City not long ago.
By the way, I did not like the George Carlin Saturday Night character. And I love that actor.
Yeah.
Our guy from The Americans, Matthew Reese.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he was a good George Carlin.
He played George Carlin?
Yeah.
Well, I don't see
and
that.
he was Matthew Reese.
A tough act to portray, though, for sure.
Yeah.
There's only one George Carlin.
And George Carlin, they portrayed him as a dick back in the day.
Yeah. Seems like he would be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
No, I completely interrupted your analogy, though. And I know where you were going, and I was going to make a point. Orlovsky may need to move up, so I'm working on that, too.
Okay.
Is he going to be in the car?
I couldn't tell you.
Car or kitchen?
Car or kitchen one. He's not in New Orleans yet, I don't think.
Yet.
Your analogy was good, but the reason we were okay moving to afternoons is it came with a significant raise that we kept even when we moved back to the middle of the day. That was the deal. Our agents had worked in advance.
You don't think Nick Sheridan got a
That's what I'm saying. That's how. But if I go back and I'm not offensive coordinator, but I keep the raise and maybe keep a nice little title.
Oh,
that's.
I'm
agreeing with you. I'm saying that's how you're not upset.
I love me some David Walls, but it came out our raise to go to the mornings. It came out to $17
No.
a day.
This was afternoons.
Yeah,
this
but I'm just saying
afternoons.
when we went to mornings, it was $17. I was like, there ain't a chance in hell this is even close to being worth this.
Yeah, no.
$170 a day, we could talk.
Yeah.
No, but the afternoon raise, that was the key. And our agents, knowing that Five-Bomb was about to be a free agent, they worked it in our contract that our guys will go to the afternoon, but they're going to do it for this.
Yeah, and when they move back, they're keeping this.
They're keeping that. Okay, all right. Yeah.
And then they got us on the mornings.
Yeah, that's what our agents are like, we can't help you here. So.
Yeah, they got us on the mornings.
Yeah.
And we sort of knew that first day of doing mornings. I'd say the first 2 weeks.
You guys, you play it up now. You guys loved it back then.
I did not.
Y'all were all about mornings.
I know.
Never liked getting up.
You're out of your mind.
You were 100% all about mornings.
Dude, I had to give up a full-time television paycheck.
No, you were still doing it for a while.
Only to work out that contract. I couldn't do it forever.
No, I was not all about it.
I was waking up at 4:45, 5 a.m. and not getting home until 11 p.m.
I'll tell you what I did love it was in the summers when our day ended at 10 o'clock and I was on that first tee by 11.
That was fun.
That was great.
I think you thought it was more of, man, we're in drive time. See, I never.
No, I try to enjoy where my feet are. But I was happy we were valued. But no, I had to give up a huge paycheck instantly.
But you had the $17 extra.
That's right. It didn't hurt as bad. Right.
I don't know how that equated for him.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit more. I think I got 34. It wasn't CBS 42 money, though. All right.
You can go back and get that now, can't you?
No, they don't like bald news anchors. Think of one. Can you think of one?
I don't know a news anchor. I cannot name one person that is on CBS right now.
Yeah.
I know our girl Brett Decker is still doing NBC.
Yep. Hardison at Fox 6.
Yeah, both of them have hair. Both of them have hair.
Hardison's got hair. Brett Decker's got
Span
hair.
is still ABC.
That is ABC 3340.
Meteorologist,
and I'm out.
And Simpson's a meteorologist at 13. He's also follically challenged.
Yep.
So I could do weather, but you got to be smart and get a degree in that. No chance in hell that's happening.
Nope, not at this point.
Rita was the most successful bald sportscaster.
Easily.
But that's sort of local sports is sort of a dying entity on television, local TV. Not many of them are doing it anymore.
Well, 3340 is the only Birmingham station with a full-time sports staff, right?
Is that true?
I think 42 does or does not. I don't know.
I think it's less full-time than it was not long ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's all shrunk since I did that. So it'd be, I guess I'd have to go to Mississippi State, which is
that's a good meteorology school.
Which isn't crazy.
I mean, no. you got a wife going to Duke.
That's right.
So, this would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. People
ought to do this.
I have been with Dunaway. This is an honest to goodness truth. I've been with Dunaway out, and people will comment on him doing the weather. I swear 100%. And this is even after he left TV.
So they just thought he was a weather guy?
Yeah. It's sunny out there today, and boy, it feels great, man. I appreciate this weather you gave us, and Jim would always be nice to him. Like, hey, no problem.
And you and Maggie go on spring break together?
Yeah, well, we're both college students.
Yeah, y'all ought to do this.
PCB.
Yeah.
That has happened to you more than once, so people think you do the weather.
Traditionally, Publix checkout ladies.
Okay, that's very, very specific.
I've told that story before. For some reason, grocery store checkout ladies
think you do the weather.
For the history of my career, I always thought I was a meteorologist.
Hey, Melton, we've got a meeting tomorrow, and I said, Dunaway, you going to be able to come? He's like, I mean, if you really need me. And I said, well, this dude used to watch you on NBC back in the 80s, and so I just need you to go. Don't talk strategy. Just hang out.
Just be Jimmy NBC.
It is a true statement that I'm not allowed to talk at any sales meeting.
Well, there is a reason.
Since day one.
There is a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was able to talk on day one. I could not talk on day two.
Yeah.
After
I don't know
day one.
what the proper response is to any of this, but I find it very fascinating.
Yeah.
That's the proper response. That was it.
Well, we tell the one story that he looked around. Man, you guys are big. You don't need to advertise.
Why would you advertise? You're packed.
She asked me the question, Milton. She says, Lance had gone to the bathroom. She's like, Jim, I watch you on television. That's why I'm interested. What do you think? I said, it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday.
He's embellished his story now. This is not why she was interested.
She made it admit.
He hates to admit it. But 2 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday in Vestavia and your restaurant's packed. Why do you need to advertise?
Hey, and for the record, they didn't, and they were out of business in 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. 6 months later.
6 months to the day after Dunaway uttered that sentence, they were like, guys, we got to turn the sign around.
6 months later, it was a mugshot. 2 years later, it was a Jimmy John's.
Jimmy Landmine to a Jimmy John's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, by the way, is Jimmy John's, like I used to order it all the time when it was Freaky Fast, but now that they're not Freaky Fast, do they do any business anymore?
I don't know.
Like, do you guys eat it anymore? I used to eat it all
I
the
eat it
time.
occasionally. There's one down the hill here.
Did they stop being freaky fast?
Oh, yeah.
They gave that up?
Yeah. I mean, it used to be amazing. You'd order, you'd pull to the window, it was there.
I know, but they would delay you. They would like, hey, what kind of chips was that again?
I would put the clock on. It was under a minute every time.
And then sometimes they'd be like, now, was that a Coke or a Diet
No,
Coke?
100% they do that at the drive-thru to slow you down.
To get you up when you're
That's
ready
right.
at the window.
Yeah,
Then
they
you
know
pull
that-
up and they're like, here you go.
Yeah, they know they're in the weeds in there, so they ask you a bunch of questions.
The pickle? Did you say pickle?
I like the Freaky Fast. I like when Domino's, hey, we'll be there in 30 minutes. Hell or high water. If we run somebody, we T-bone somebody
Which is
at
what
an intersection.
happened. Yeah, which is what happened, by the way.
But that was pretty amazing. You knew, and now you got to
Yeah.
watch it on the app, and it takes an hour and 41 minutes, and you're like, man, what happened to the good times?
Hour and 41
People were
minutes.
running stop signs and red lights.
You
just
ordered
to
pizza from
get my
Mississippi?
pizza here.
Our friends at Woodhouse bringing you this part of the show. Tell us about Woodhouse. Take a quick break here, find out Orlovsky's status, and get to a lot more in the show, including 4 downs coming up. Woodhouse.
Hey, look, every weekend you want to spend time wisely. If you want to be watching football, basketball all day, send the wife or girlfriend to the Woodhouse Day Spa. It is the best day spa out there, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, right off of Highway 280. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. How far are we out from Valentine's Day? Less than 2 weeks. Hey, you got to come up with a great Valentine's gift. The Woodhouse Day Spa is perfect. Get that gift card online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or stop in, see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you.
Hey, listen, when it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. She selected Brad Bell, A-plus, bathandkitchen.com. I'm glad she did. Scott shows you every day some of the before and afters, and Tyler is doing it now. Scott's out signing day, by the way, today for his daughter. That's why he's out. Listen, Brad did tremendous work. His crews were on time every day. They were very courteous. They were clean. They worked hard. At the end of each day, they brought us in to show what they did and make sure it met our specifications. I could not be happier with their work. If you want Brad to come in, here's what he specializes in: master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's not all he does, but it's where he specializes. You can give him a call, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758. Or visit his website, aplusbathandkitchen.com. aplusbathandkitchen.com. We talk Super Bowl with ESPN's Dan Orlovsky next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
1-800-848-9600.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
We'll get to Dan Orlovsky in this segment. Before we do that, Michelson Laser Vision getting you ready for Super Bowl weekend. Well, make a choice right now. Hey, Super Bowl weekend, and then after that, come out and make the best choice Lance ever made, and that was getting this surgery.
Yeah, like I've got a bad Super Bowl record going back, 25 years now.
Not being able to pick the correct side?
Yep. I'll tell you who's got a great record since 1995. Dr. Mark Michelson, the first in the state of Alabama to perform the LASIK procedure. I got the procedure done in 2003, over 20 years of perfect vision, 2015 better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They are going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if a LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, Super Bowl is Sunday. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky is about to head to the Big Easy. They are most known in New Orleans. Not most known, but widely regarded as one of the best food cities in the world. Dan eats nothing, so I don't know how he's going to enjoy New Orleans at all. What is up, Orlovsky? How are you?
What's going on? I probably, New Orleans and I are probably not simpatico in a lot of different ways, but I'll find a way. I'll find a salad or two.
So do you eat bread at all? Do you drink alcohol at all?
I don't really eat bread. I used to love sandwiches. I eat pizza, so I guess that's still dough. And do I drink alcohol? Yeah, I don't drink that much. I've never really been a drinker person. I'm more of a white or red wine person. So
I thought you were about to say White Claw.
Not a big partier.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of New Orleans there, Dan. That's what you'll be missing.
Yeah. Does your wife help you pack, or is that 100% on you? Because in my marriage of 26 great years, I do my own laundry. I pack, but my wife will walk by when I'm packing for a trip, and she's like, You're really not doing that right. You're not very efficient with your packing, but I still end up packing. You're getting ready to go to the Super Bowl. Do you handle the packing, or does she give you friendly advice?
So I handle the packing for myself, for sure. I also load the dishwasher. I'm a little bit OCD in that regard.
Yep.
I'm a pretty figure out a way to make it work, detailed person. So now she picks out my clothes. She picks out my suits every day. So she's got 4 picked out for me for the Super Bowl week. But I figure I don't check bags. I refuse to check bags no matter where I'm going or no matter how long I'm going. So I find a way to shove it all in a duffel bag in some capacity.
Wow.
Okay, so
I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Gotta have a steamer. Do you steam or wear wrinkled? What do you do?
I figure out a way I don't have a steamer. I used to, but it took up too much space. So, most of the places have an iron you can use in some capacity. If it's wrinkled, figure something else out.
Okay, help me figure this out, because a year ago I was like, there is no way Kansas City, they can't three-peat. They just can't. It's impossible in the NFL. There's too much parity. And this year, you watch Kansas City. They are 12-0, I think, in one possession game. So they just find a way to win all of these games. Obviously, they've got one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it. But in this year, Lamar and Josh Allen, I believed, were better quarterbacks. But here we go again. Kansas City, without a ton of skill, is back in this game, and they're back favored to win another championship. How do they continue to do this?
I still think it's a pretty darn good roster, though. We kind of lose sight of it. Now, Philadelphia, you can make case as the best roster and certainly the better roster. But if you look at the makeup of their football team, the interior of the offensive line is still as good as anybody's in football. They had tackle problems. So that was a little bit of the overshadowing concern. Travis didn't have a year that he had 120 catches, but Travis was still impactful. They lose Rashee Rice. Hollywood Brown wasn't there, so now Xavier Worthy they draft kind of comes along the same way that Rashee Rice did. He's playing his best football now. And then Hollywood Brown misses the whole season, but he's back healthy. So a lot of the pieces that we thought were going to be a part of their offense early on, they were mixing and matching because of injuries and whatnot. And so the offense just took some time to settle in, and they make a move to Joe Thuney. And then, defensively, it's still pretty much the same defense that has gone to the Super Bowl for the past few years. They lost L'Jarius Sneed in free agency, and they were trying to figure out that second and third corner role. And then the person who stepped in for it, Jalen Watson, got hurt. He's back now healthy. But it's still Chenal and Nick Bolton and Chris Jones and Wharton and Mike Dana and George Karlaftis. A lot of the guys that were the backbone of this defense, Justin Reed, Trent McDuffie, for the last 2 years are still there. So it is a still very good roster. It's just maybe not the one that we saw with Tyreek Hill a couple of seasons ago.
When the Buccaneers beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they had tackle injuries and tackle problems. I love this Eagles defensive line. Where are you on both ends of the offensive line in protecting Patrick Mahomes? And is he one of the best of getting extra time with his feet, even when his tackles break down?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best. The left tackle is not an issue anymore. They moved Joe Thuney out there ever since they've done that, I think, in Week 12. The 3 stats that stand out there, a field goal better offensively. I think they're averaging 27 or 28 a game now. Patrick's sack percentage has been cut in half. His QBR has gone up 20%. QBR is a little bit of a skewed stat sometimes because it accounts for sacks. And so that's one that when it comes to the offensive line, that actually matters because he's getting hit less and taking less sacks. So the interesting thing apart, Philadelphia's defensive line, the strength of it is Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith when they're together. They more often than not line up on the defense's left, which would be the offense's right. That is still the weak part of Kansas City's offensive line, specifically the right tackle, not the right guard. So I do think there might be some opportunity for them. But the thing that people have, probably not paid attention to, but I have to because it's my job, is, no one gets the ball out faster than Patrick. No one throws the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage more than Patrick. No one runs more RPOs than Kansas City. So they don't really give the pass rush a ton of opportunity, specifically on early downs. So I think they'll try to mitigate that. For Philadelphia's offensive line, I think it'd be interesting, NFC title game, both Landon Dickerson and Juergens were hurt. How healthy are they? We haven't really heard anything about it. Dickerson was on one leg. So how healthy are they going up against a player like Chris Jones, who's the best big game defensive tackle we have in football, go a long way?
Dan Orlovsky with us from ESPN. He's about to head to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And not just going against that defensive front, but going against a defensive coordinator that is one of the best blitzing coordinators in the history of this game. He disguises them, I think, better than anyone, Dan. He's as exotic as anyone, and it seems like he times it right every single time.
Yeah, he is. And it's not just the blitzes, it's the defensive back blitzes. That's a little bit of the out of the norm that is attached to them, and they'll do it at any down, any time, any location of the field. So your antennas kind of have to always be up. I think the one thing that people should pay attention to big time in this game in relation to that is they do such a fantastic job of lying to you, of where you think the blitz is coming and then where it actually comes from. And you only have so much time to try and fix that problem that the defense shows you. When they're in the shotgun, Philadelphia, how much are they mixing up the indicator to the center of when to snap the ball? If you are, kind of predictable in that, you're dead against Kansas City, because they're just going to figure it out and they're going to blitz at the last moment, and you're going to be in trouble. So I think how much Philadelphia can try to control that will go a long way. But no question, one of the huge keys in this game is how their offense handles the defensive back blitzes.
Are you to the point, look, in Spagnolia, one of the best in the business, are you to the point, though, you can focus as much as you want? Easy to say, hey, we're going to stop Saquon. But you go back to the divisional round, Chris Shula, outside of the 62 and 78-yard run, he had 24 carries for 65 yards. He hit the big hitters. Had the big hitter against Washington. Outside of that, 14 for 58 yards. I mean, you can do what you want to try to slow him down, but he's going to break one of these, right?
Yeah, I think the big deal is you got to tackle all 11 really well. If you go to the Rams one, easier said than done, but poor angles. A guy gets out of his gap, and then the safety takes a poor angle. He's to the house. First play of the Washington game, it probably goes for 15, but they're tackling him up at his neck. You're not going to tackle Saquon like that. So, all 11 tackling really well will be a big deal. Kansas City notoriously is a very good tackling defense. It's why they're one of the best. I'd also tell you this. This is one of the most shocking stats going into the Super Bowl. In the last 18 playoff games the Chiefs have played, 18 playoff games, they have not given up a 100-yard rusher. 18 playoff games?
Wow.
In that 18-game playoff stretch, it's obviously 18-game win streak. In that 18-game win streak, they have given up 2 touchdowns on the ground that have gone longer than 6 yards. Mm-hmm. So it's just not in their nature to kind of allow you to run the ball in those situations. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of wins that battle, because history tells us Kansas City. The present tells us Philadelphia.
So would you play over 100 yards? And the number's a little bit higher than that on Saquon's rushing yards. But do you think he breaks 100 yards?
I think it's hard for me to see this offense not getting 100. It's hard for me.
Kellen Moore makes sure he is so just hard-headed about running the football, is he not?
Yeah, and again, part of it is their defense is the number one defense in football. So, you're very. I'd be shocked if they go down at any point in this game. At worst, 10 points. So you're never out of it, really, because your defense is so good. So I do believe that he's going to have a really good chance to break that, yeah.
How beat up at center and guard would it have had to be for them to ask Jason Kelce to come back for one game? And could he have gotten in shape?
I don't think it's the shape thing that would be the issue. I was with him this past weekend calling the Pro Bowl with him. He's not that big anymore. He's probably 260, probably 270, maybe. And when we were down on the field talking, even him, who just played, in the playoffs last year, was looking at guys, and we were looking at Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. He was like, could you imagine having to, and he uses it anchoring down, meaning put your foot in the ground and stand toe-to-toe and block that guy and not move. He's like, could you imagine having to anchor against that guy? I'm like, of course I can't. So I don't know if he's heavy enough to be capable of doing it.
Yeah. You've spent time in Philadelphia. I think your wife is from Philly, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It's a complicated relationship, it seems, with them and Nick Sirianni. I mean, where is that relationship? Obviously, I was about to say
a lot like Ryan Day in Ohio State.
I
It
guess
worked
so.
out
Yeah,
for them.
yeah. I mean, it worked out for them.
I think the similarities are this. The expectations throughout the offseason leading into the season were very high because everyone knew how good of a team that was, talent-wise. And so when the team doesn't play to a certain way, you're trying to figure out why. You're trying to go, well, wait, Philadelphia, you're squeaking by Jacksonville and Cleveland and the Saints. And so there was certainly a level of frustration. And then he's been really aggressive early on in the year with some points that didn't work out. And obviously the interaction with the fans. And so, I think at the end of the day in Philadelphia, if you win and you give them your all, that's all they really care about. I certainly believe that, for him to be liked or whatnot, he's got to go win the Super Bowl. If they don't win, I'm sure there's going to be a part of the fan base that says this guy can't even take this roster and win a Super Bowl because it's arguably the best roster in ball. So, but I also think you got to give him credit for the way he's developed and grown throughout this season and the way he has managed it all throughout the season. And they're not here unless they've had that.
I mean, they did fire the guy that won the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not saying Doug Peterson, his time had not run out, but even winning a Super Bowl there is not going to give you a lifetime pass, as hungry as they were for it.
No, I mean, that's my wife's. I have 3 13-year-old sons. One of them fires Nick Sirianni multiple times every game. And that's not my doing. That's my wife's doing. Now, she doesn't fire him, but he does. He's like, sir. I'm like, dude, it's the first quarter with 7 minutes to go. So
settle down.
It's a passionate group, no doubt.
What is the better Philadelphia backdrop for a movie? Would you go Rocky or Silver Linings Playbook?
Oh, Rocky, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a jock, so Rocky. Like it's.
Well, I mean, Silver Linings Playbook. There was a lot of Philadelphia Eagles in there.
A ton, yeah.
Yeah, but I like physical pain, and discomfort. So Rocky's journey of physical pain and discomfort is something I enjoy.
Physical pain and discomfort, the reason Dan does this show each week. So we appreciate that. We're glad you like it.
The guy who couldn't imagine anchoring down on the 300-pound guy loves physical pain.
I try it.
Now, Kelsey does like bread and alcohol, right?
100%, he has to.
Yeah. He was down at Disney on Monday with his family, and we were down there for the week, and I told him one of our favorite places at Disney World to go and grab, and I told him, you got to get 2 of them. You got to get 2 of the drinks. And he sent me a picture. He's like, you were right. So he enjoys himself for sure.
Yeah. Is it in Epcot?
It's got to be in Epcot.
Yeah.
Not in Epcot.
Oh.
It's in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've got the African beer there.
The Dawa Bar, right near the Lion King show, which is where the African street performers come out. If you go get yourself 2 of the jungle juices and you sit there for 30 minutes, you'll enjoy yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Animal Kingdom's my least favorite of the parks, though.
Yeah, I never plan on going back.
Animal Kingdom's the best park.
I agree too. Because Everest, I love walking around. I feel like I'm in a different country and I don't have to have a passport. It's amazing.
Everest is an excellent roller coaster. Avatar is badly overrated.
Epcot is by far
Epcot's the best one, Dan. We literally stay, and we're going again in May. We stay right next to Epcot just so we go to Epcot every night.
Yeah, we love Epcot as well. Those would be our, 1A, Epcot and Animal Kingdom. We stay at the Beach and Yacht Club every time so we can walk back and forth. It's also the best pool.
Yep.
But did you say Pandora is overrated?
I did say that, Dan. I did.
Pandora is in the conversation for a top 3 ride at Disney World.
It is not better than Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
I agree.
Okay. Would you put Tron in front of it at Magic Kingdom?
No.
Okay.
Tron's too short.
It is too
Tron's
short, but
too short.
it's excellent, but it's short. Insert your joke here. It is excellent, but it's short. I didn't like Pandora. Animal Kingdom, it feels like they built it too small and it's so crowded.
No, Animal Kingdom's great, and it's also, when you're down there in May and it's 900 degrees, it's also great shade.
Yes.
That's true about that.
Yeah.
He's unlocked the idea that we always stay at Beach Club like him because you've got the back entrance to Epcot right out the hotel.
Yeah.
It's perfect, man. That's a great place to go.
And the boardwalk.
Yep. All right. Hey, enjoy New Orleans, Dan. Thank you very much for the time as always. We enjoyed it this season.
Same here, guys. You guys enjoy the week. Enjoy Super Bowl, and we'll talk soon.
You got it, buddy. Take care. Dan Orlovsky with us from ESPN, headed to New Orleans. Disney in New Orleans in 2 weeks. That's a lot.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy right there. Always good information. New York Butcher Shop. We were just talking about a taste of New Orleans, a taste of Disney. You want a taste of New York. right here in our town, New York Butcher does that for you.
Yeah, look, Valentine's Day specials coming up from our man Jim and that great staff. But I want to focus right now on the Super Bowl because you can order one of these smoked Boston butts available for pickup this Friday, this Saturday. They're only $39.99 each. Reservations only. You can call the Cowboy Heights location, 205-970-7300. The Greystone location on Highway 119, 205-703-8825. Pre-order your Super Bowl Boston butt smoked right there, only $39.99. They've also got great hamburger patties, fresh ground certified Angus beef ready to cook, plus dips, local craft beers, and fine wine, smoked chicken wings, rare quality, well-done service, 2 locations. Stop and see Jim and that great staff and tell them the next round sent you.
I will just warn everybody, y'all better beat me to it. I'm going to do that.
What?
I'm going to give me a Boston butt to watch the Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you were going to have jungle juice at
yeah, I'll
Animal
chase down,
Kingdom.
I'll chase down that recipe. I'll try that out at the house. I wonder what's in it.
I think have I had one of
I am
those?
going to guarantee you there is white liquor, probably both vodka and rum.
I can't see if the jungle juice, if you can give me a Google search, jungle juice, and see if there is a
Got to be
recipe.
white liquor.
Because everybody tries to break down every recipe out there, right?
Grief at the pop-ups on this.
Yeah.
Passion fruit juice, guava nectar, and orange juice, it says. I don't know if there's alcohol
I feel
in
really confident saying I will never be in Disney again.
Oh, I mean,
we're going in May. I'm going back in May.
Well, you got a little one.
I
still.
do, yeah. But my 20-year-old, everybody in my family likes Epcot, so that makes it easy, and that's why we stay at Beach Club, because you can walk to Epcot. You know, you get the park hopper, you can go there every night.
Discovery Cove is by far the hidden gem and the best thing to ever do in Orlando. Now, it's got nothing to do, no affiliation with Disney. It's affiliated with SeaWorld. But that and Epcot are the only reasons I would ever go to Orlando again.
I will tell you that
The city of Orlando.
Yeah. Maggie and I will go at some point. Just us. We took our last time we went was our 24-year-old was probably 19 at the time. Now my son doesn't like it. He does not like it at all.
To each their own, but I've never understood the adult couples that go to Disney, but a lot of people do it.
We
used to work with some people that did it a lot.
Yeah, we like the rides, man. We like.
Have you ridden Gardens of the Galaxy? Best roller coaster that exists.
I don't know if I have.
You would know if you have.
Yeah.
It's at Epcot. It's relatively new.
Yeah.
I don't think Melton agrees with me. It's the best roller coaster I've ever been on.
I haven't ridden it.
Oh, okay.
But I agree with you on your Animal Kingdom take. It's the most skippable park of the 4.
Yeah. We're skipping it this next time we go.
It's been 5 years, and no, the most skippable park is
the regular park.
Magic Kingdom?
Yeah. No, it's the Hollywood one, yeah.
Hollywood, I mean, Tower of Terror is...
what is the Aerosmith roller coaster?
Overrated, but the Rock and Roller Coaster...
Oh, it's closed now. They're changing it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the best one there.
Was it offensive?
Well, it's going to the Muppets. No, it wasn't offensive.
No. Well, that was Splash Mountain.
That was Splash Mountain.
Why was Splash Mountain offensive?
I think it had some scenes from back in the day that they didn't really like.
We canceled a ride?
Yeah, well, they changed it.
It was based on the old movie Song of the South.
Right.
Yeah.
And that movie is one that Disney wishes everyone would forget and completely be burned from existence.
That's right.
It was a different era.
Yeah, it was a different era when they released Song of the South, and that was the basis. But they changed it over to, what's the princess they changed it to?
Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, Princess and the Frog.
When that got no play back in the day, did it?
No, it didn't. Rock and Roller Coaster, though, that went to the Muppets. I don't know what it's going to be. Rock and Roller Coaster was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
I like that ride.
0 to 60 is all I can think about. It was quick.
Yeah. Aerosmith, man.
They'll keep it the same sort of functionality, just completely rethemed with Muppets.
Yeah, we will have Steven Tyler in the opening video.
Did not like the Jim Henson part from our man Greg from Succession in Saturday Night either.
Yeah, well, what'd you think of his Andy Kaufman?
I thought it was forced too. So weird that he played both.
I didn't like the double role. I didn't like that move.
Yeah.
And see, at Hollywood Studios, the Star Wars stuff's completely wasted on me. I've never seen those movies, so...
What about the Harry Potter?
Well, that's Universal. Yeah.
So have you ridden Rise of the Resistance?
I've ridden the Star Wars rides. They do nothing for me. I've not seen the movies, so it just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, though, the track layout. If it's working, I mean, it crashes every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
So have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, I didn't like the movie. The ride's fantastic.
When we come back, LT's got 4 downs. Also, there is a
need a Lincoln ride.
There is a person out there that is asking: is the Superdome the greatest American sports venue of all time. We'll talk about what LT hit the tip of the iceberg on yesterday, just all the great moments that have gone on there. Back to basketball, a couple of questions there we got to get to, and a couple of football things we promised you. All that coming up on the show that is being brought to you today by our friends at Hemphill. Tell us about Hemphill, LT.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. These guys ready to serve. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Trust the name Birmingham's trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. If any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show. One problem in college football is that rules are different in so many things when it comes to the NIL. We got to get something universal. Kirby Smart is about to have a little bit of an advantage in the NIL world if this happens. The Georgia State Senate is trying to pass a bill right now in session that would make any NIL compensation state tax exempt. So if you come to Georgia Tech, any of that, your NIL money will not be taxed by the state of Georgia.
So that puts you on a level playing field with Tennessee. I don't know all the states. Tennessee, Florida, and Texas don't have state income tax.
Yep.
So that would at least put you on a level playing field with those schools.
And that's when you're quickly Kalen DeBoer and Hugh Freeze. You go to Kay Ivey and say, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and how do we remove that from us, too?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, how long – I mean, if you didn't have to pay taxes, how different would life be?
Well, I mean, I think that is one of President Trump's, at least something he said he would like to look at, is that America was funded through tariffs up until
or how about this?
The 1870s or something like that.
If you could get back every dollar you've ever been taxed, like I'd retire.
Well, unfortunately, that money doesn't exist anymore.
I know it doesn't. But I'm just saying that's the amount of money. I think it's two things. It means I'm old. I've been working for a long time.
Right.
You know, I think my first W-2 was back in 1988 or something.
But you know, this is an advantage that teams like the Dolphins and the Titans and the Cowboys have used before, is at least the home games you play. Because what a lot of people don't understand about the NFL, and this will be interesting on NIL money too.
I remember Barrett Jones telling us this story.
I never knew this till Barrett told us. Is an NFL player has to pay the sales tax to the state in which the game was played.
Yeah.
Hated going to San Francisco to play the 49ers.
That's right. That
when he
was
was playing in St. Louis.
Yeah, but you were about to ask on college and NIL, that's paid in the state that you're playing. If we ever go to a pay-for-play contract,
that's right.
Will it be like the NFL,
They could
where
have to
if
be.
Alabama's on the road playing at USC, do you get California
Well,
taxes?
and then do you start having players dictate you're out of conference? Hey, look.
Yeah, I ain't going to play.
Why would we go out there when we got to pay these high taxes?
But
hamstring, sorry.
But as you know, I mean, it gives some of these teams an advantage of not having to pay the state sales tax.
For a while, it really hurt Canadian teams back when the dollar in pro sports, somebody wanted to go play in Montreal with the Expos or the Blue Jays. Apparently something has flipped because the Blue Jays were hot in the market this year.
I don't know why you can't get creative. Like, okay, I'm Barrett Jones. I'm an offensive lineman for the St. Louis Rams. You pay me 90% of my contract for home games, and then just pay me a little bit for the road games. Why can you not get creative with the contract?
If you're a politician, though, be a politician for a minute, Jim. Think like a politician.
Okay.
And the guy that is going to work at the automotive plant in Georgia is having to pay sales tax on every dollar he makes. But the kid that's playing college football doesn't?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's a tough sell if I'm Joe Taxpayer in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, unless I'm a huge Georgia Bulldog fan and want to see him win a championship.
I still don't think it flies.
Our friends at Champy's Chicken bring you this hour Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Before you put it up, my bad, Tyler. I told you a different order. Our buddy Scott Forrester is not here today, and I wanted to show you why before I told you about Champy's. We're all celebrating his daughter. We gave it to you when she signed, but today's the actual official signing going on. And there she is with Scott Forrester heading to Freed Hardman to play volleyball. And Haley Forrester there with the signature today. And according to his text, LT, she dropped a Kobe quote in her speech.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. So
that's pretty awesome, though.
Good for the family over there. A handful of girls, Moody, volleyball, softball, and other athletes on signing day today around the country. Congratulations to your kids, friends, family members that are going through that. But here in our family, Scott Forrester and his family off handling that this morning, and what a beautiful picture there. And maybe they're on their way to Champy's for lunch today. Our buddy Brian Pavlik was there last night. He's going to be on the Meltdown, new live show today at 2 o'clock. He'll be on the show on Thursday, he was telling me. He wanted to know what to get at Champy's Chicken. I've seen you pictures for tomorrow's Champions Live and what Pavlik got, but he did go with the appetizer, start off with a little sausage and cheese and pickle plate, and he went with the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. I talked him into the 2 big breast fried, cooked to order when you go in there, and all the sides, and the great Mississippi mud pie that's made on the property, all the great food. Perfect for the holidays when we get back to those. Perfect for Super Bowl Sunday, which is a holiday as well, right there at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. This could be, according to not Bromberg's, Bloomberg, the media outlet. They write today. I had the bird part.
Yes.
Bloomberg writes today that this is, they believe, the last major iconic sporting event in the history of the Superdome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we were talking about this yesterday. They think it's a possibility?
I don't think they're counting the College Football National Championship, which is already on the books. So they are saying 50 years old, and this will likely be the last Super Bowl in the building.
Why?
Because it's aging out. They believe New Orleans will get a new one.
Not that this matters to the NFL, I don't think, but it could. I think the reason this matters to the NFL is they don't like the image of their event. I don't know if you've seen it, but the media workroom is one level of a parking garage.
Right.
That they've just, it's underground, so it's not open to the elements, but it's just a parking garage. I mean, and it's a parking garage that they got tables set up there, which shows you the Superdome just doesn't have the space some of these other higher end stadiums have. I don't necessarily think the NFL, I don't think they worry about where the media does their work, but they don't like the image of people doing the video that is going around now of look at the media workroom. It's a dang parking garage. It makes it look like you're having it in a half-assed venue.
We started the conversation yesterday. Well, why haven't they built a new dome?
Yeah.
Like you talked about the King Dome and the Astrodome and, the Pontiac Silver Dome.
I'd 100% do it if I were there. Played the Saints 2 years in Baton Rouge.
To me, the infrastructure is by far the best setting for a Super Bowl, just based on the fact that you can absolutely walk everywhere, from the game to all your hotels to all your restaurants. You never have to leave that perimeter. There's not another city that hosts a Super Bowl where you can do that.
Now's the time to do it, because you'd go to the Saints fans and say, we're going to suck for 2 years anyway. We'll suck in Baton Rouge. And when we get good again, when we get on the other side of this salary cap issue and the other side of this roster, we're going to have a new stadium right here where you are.
Yep.
I mean, to me, I think you almost have to do it if you're there's too much tourism in that city to lose the Super Bowl and then maybe even potentially down the road Final Fours and national championship games.
The folks at Yahoo have the 25 greatest moments in what they're calling an argument for the greatest sports venue of all time. And that's because of the things that have happened inside the Superdome, which opened in 1975. And I believe on January 1, 1976, the first college football game was played in there. I believe it was a Penn State-Alabama Rose Bowl, not the famous Penn State-Alabama Rose Bowl, but a different one.
Sugar Bowl,
yes. I believe that was the first college football game ever played in there. I may be wrong on that.
Okay.
But here are the 25 biggest events on there. Gerald Honeycutt's falling out of bounds buzzer beater on December 5th, 1995. Florida State, Tulane guard Corey Childs, they played a basketball game. That makes 25.
Wow, boy.
Yeah.
Wait, so are you
a regular season game?
Chronological, though?
December 5th. That was 25th, yeah. No, it's not in years.
Okay, because I was about to say Keith Smart, 1987, much bigger.
Yeah. Doomsday Defense stifles Denver, 1978. I brought this up. That was the Orange Crush.
Bad Super Bowl.
Doomsday beat Orange Crush. Bad Super Bowl. That was during a run of bad Super Bowls. Dan Marino delivers on fourth down, January 1, 1982. That's going to be Pitt, right?
Yeah, it's Pitt over Georgia, which, as I've always, it seems like a big upset. I don't know how big that upset was, but it feels like Pitt beating Georgia was an upset back then.
Peter Warwick outduels Michael Vick, January 4th, 2000. That was
good game for first half.
Yeah, it's not a bad game early.
For the national championship.
It was. I mean, the fact, don't let it wash over you that Frank Beamer had a team playing for a national championship. It's pretty dang remarkable.
21 on this list from Yahoo Sports. Al Davis, Pete Rozelle feud. Those two did not like each other, and the Raiders won the Super Bowl on January 25th, 81 in the Superdome, and Rozelle had to hand Al Davis, after they'd spent the year in court, the Lombardi Trophy. Also on this list, the Battle for Kentucky, April 2nd, 2012. That was the Final Four that had Louisville and Kentucky play each other back then.
Yeah, that theme will reappear coming up.
Yeah. Desmond Howard takes it to the house January 26, 1997. That was a Packers-Patriots Super Bowl. Pistol Pete's 68-point barrage. Remember, they used to play, being the New Orleans Jazz, in the Superdome when Maravich could fill the house. He averaged 44.2 points per game for 3 seasons at LSU, but not all of Pistol's finest moments came in college. February 25th, 1977, he scored 68 against the New York Knicks in a regular season game there. Joe Burrow stakes his claim as a GOAT, they spell it Cajun style, January 13th, 2020, when that 2019 team won the national
Not a particularly
championship.
great game, but a great team that you could just appreciate watching.
Against Clemson, right?
Yep. It was pretty much blowout, but it's kind of what you expected in that game.
16th, how iconic is this moment? It's not a great team win or anything, but it should have been a penalty is all they label it. January 20th, 2019, Rams-Saints game.
You were there, weren't you?
I was not. That's the only round I've never been to an NFC or an AFC championship game. Been to the wild card divisional and Super Bowls, but
well, when the Dolphins are back in the AFC Championship, I'm taking everybody up here.
The kick that clinched the Saints to go to a Super Bowl. Pigs have flown, hell has frozen over, and the Saints are on their way to the Super Bowl, is how they called it on the radio. That was in 2010. Carmelo Anthony, Jim Boeheim, national championship, played on that floor. The 49ers win the most lopsided Super Bowl of all time, 1990.
Another bad stretch of Super. That was the Broncos again, wasn't it?
I think it was. 49ers Broncos, yeah. Nick Saban ends LSU's championship drought, national title, also at the Superdome. Boy, those two of those championships for LSU are right there at the Superdome.
Right. Yep.
Worked out good. Keith Smart ushers in the one shining moment with a clinching buzzer beater in 1987.
Do you remember? Well, I know you're looking at it. You know who that was against?
Indiana. Bob Knight in Indiana, wasn't it?
No, Keith Smart hit the shot for Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, who he shot over.
Yeah.
I mean, no, yeah, you're right. Over Syracuse?
Yep. Rony Cycli, Derek Coleman, those really tight shorts.
Yeah.
This is not great for the Superdome, but the 10th greatest sports moment in the Superdome. Super Bowl goes dark February 3rd, 2013.
It's the story of the Superdome, though.
Same day, our man, the suit, Ryan Haney, went dark.
Number 9 is Coach K's last game. North Carolina takes down Duke in the Final Four game.
I said we would revisit that, but when Duke and North Carolina finally met in the Final Four, it was overshadowed by the fact that it was Coach K's last game, and North Carolina ended his career, which has to stick with Duke fans for a long time because Carolina also beat them in Cameron Indoor. His final, I think it was his final game in Cameron Indoor, right?
It does seem like they lost the last game.
Carolina beat him twice to end his career, which is just a stunning way for him to end.
You wondered if it would be on this list because it's a national writer. But number 8 of all the great moments in the Superdome history, legendary goal line stand secures national title for Alabama January 1, 1979.
We got paintings about him, my man.
Yep. People forget, I think, the Fridges touchdown. That Super Bowl, the great
terrible Super
Bears
Bowl
team beat the crap out of the Patriots.
Yep. Boy, the NFC was so much better than the AFC in the late 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It was just impossible to watch.
The no Moss moment in boxing was in the Superdome.
Yeah.
Does this say how many people were there for that?
Let me check real quick.
That's a big venue for a boxing match.
November 25th, 1980, 15 rounds they went. Wow, 15 rounds. Does not have the attendance.
Roberto Duran and who?
That was
Sugar Ray Leonard, right?
Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. Is that who it was?
Oh, or that was Thomas Hearns.
Oh, okay.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
15 rounds. I thought I recognized Sugar Ray there, but that's who. Chris Webber's timeout was in the Superdome.
That's right.
Gosh. You mentioned this earlier. Adam Vinatieri's kick launches a dynasty in 2002 in the Superdome.
I was at that one, unfortunately.
Muhammad Ali's last stand, 1978, against Leon Spinks, 63,000 for that one. They do put the attendance there for that boxing match. Michael Jordan's biggest shot in college.
That's right.
Was at the Superdome. And then they put number 1 so big for the Saints after Katrina, Steve Gleason's block punt on that Monday Night Football game as the greatest moment in Superdome history. a lot of iconic moments. If you had to pick a venue that is America's great sports venue, where do you go?
I mean, a lot of people say Madison Square Garden, which I watched an excellent game from there last night, by the way, St. John's and Marquette.
I have never been to MSG.
I haven't either, but it can't hold football. So, the thing that sets that apart is you've got massive basketball and massive football games.
And boxing.
And boxing.
But Madison Square Garden had basketball and boxing and hockey.
And WrestleMania was there.
WrestleMania was there.
Obviously, really good concerts. They had a baseball tournament back in the day that was at the Superdome, believe it or not.
Yeah, I've seen baseball there.
Yeah,
How about this concert?
Why it's shaped that way.
Yeah.
July 13, 1978. Doobie Brothers opened up, then Van Halen, then the Rolling Stones.
That was at the Superdome?
Yeah. I'm not a Doobie Brothers
Was
guy.
that one of their first? Was that?
That was their first really big concert, 1978.
Big American Stadium tour, right?
I don't know about that.
It was. I remember seeing an iconic video. Like he had what's the British flag?
Union Jack.
Union Jack wrapped around him, walking down a big long stage and the massive people. I just remember that being an iconic photo.
When you brought this up earlier, you mentioned this just before the show. The Louisiana Superdome, best sports venue we've had. I kind of scoffed at it.
Yep.
But boy, I tell you what, after you read all those things, I mean, I don't know who stands up to it.
Just because it's been around since 1975. I mean, the fact that it's 50 years old, there's not many other venues that are that relevant that can hold that many things. Like if the Astrodome would have stayed around, if the Kingdome, maybe you could make the argument, but I don't know another one.
Yeah.
Did we ever play a Super Bowl in the Astrodome? I don't think we did.
Don't think so. No, they played one at Rice Stadium way back.
And I don't think you played
the Astrodome.
Yeah.
I don't think you played one in the Kingdome.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. Did we ever play one in the Hefty Bag?
The Metrodome?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
I know they played one in the Silverdome, right?
Yeah, Metrodome, I'm almost positive the last one was the Redskins over the Bills.
Silverdome was Bengals 49ers, first time they made it
that
there
is correct,
around 1982. Yep.
I'm trying to find.
We did one in the Georgia Dome, right?
Yeah.
Georgia Dome had Bills and Cowboys.
The first one I ever went to, though. That was 1999 when the Rams won their first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
January of 2000.
But you're right. They had the Bills, the Cowboys blow out of the Bills in, 94, somewhere around there? That was the Georgia Dome.
Yeah, Detroit had the 82 that you talked about, and they had it again in 2006 in Ford Field after Ford Field opened.
Yeah.
Houston's had it 3 times, but once was Rice Stadium, and the other 2 are in the new stadium in Houston. They never had it in the Astrodome.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's unique because, the Orange Bowl had Super Bowls and national championships, but no basketball.
No basketball there. L.A. Coliseum's iconic for the Olympics and some great football, but they had baseball for a while.
They had a Super Bowl.
Didn't the Dodgers play there when they first moved to L.A.? Yeah, great venues in our country, but maybe the Superdome is the greatest of them all.
Yeah, I scoffed at it until you gave me the top 25 moments. It started weak with a regular season basketball game, but boy, it finished strong.
You know what's crazy, and I know it's billions of dollars to build the venue you want to build now, but in the last 20 years, they've spent $650 million on renovations.
Again, my point, if you'd have just played a couple years in Baton Rouge, leveled the place and started over, you wouldn't be much more than that.
Right.
Now, I say that SoFi cost $5 billion, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they went a little over the top.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think they went over budget on SoFi?
Yeah. I don't think you need all of that.
Have to start taxing the beignets and the alcohol.
I mean, because right now you're doing all this at the Superdome with nothing. I mean, it's just a dome stadium.
Yeah.
There is nothing special about that place.
All right, Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday. 4 Downs in just a second. The show being brought to you. Before he tells us about Slice, I'll tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing and our buddy Greg from Pell City. Expanding staff. He's got Antonio London II there, familiar name with you Alabama fans. They've got him on staff there now. They've also got the unbelievable customer service you get from a family-owned business that's been locally owned for over 20 years now. Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531, or you can look him up on Facebook. The one thing I want to tell you, free no-cost roof inspection, no obligation. Greg will climb up on your roof, check it out, and let you know if you got any problems. He also wants to help you with your insurance right now. If you've got an older roof, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years or older, there's ways that your insurance now is going to handle claims on an older roof that you need to know about. And Greg can sort of walk you through that process and sort of alert you to what could be a problem down the road 205-542-3531. He'll come out and talk to you about insurance and give you that free no-cost roof inspection. Call him up. Find out what's going on with your insurance, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, and Slice bringing you 4 Downs.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Stop in for lunch or dinner. You can get a slice and a salad today for lunch. Did it just a couple of weeks ago, the old school, the Redmont salad. There's different specialty pizzas available each and every day. They've always got the pepperoni, always got the cheese. You can pick up a couple of pies on your way home. Original location, Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. For more information and to check out that menu, SliceBirmingham.com.
First down.
Don Cherry, 91 years old.
The old
today.
hockey guy.
Yeah, if I ask you better career, Don Cherry or Harry Carey?
So, having not lived in Canada, I am aware of Don Cherry, but I don't know how beloved he was there.
I would say very.
I mean, definitely a character. The suits were
very loud,
outlandish.
Yeah,
hard to believe the guy's still 91 and kicking it.
Is he still doing it?
I think he still does a hockey night. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, Hockey Night in Canada was a massive show up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I would say Will Ferrell and others have never done an impersonation of Don Cherry.
I've never seen Canada Saturday Night Live, so I don't know.
I would imagine that Kim Mulkey has dressed like Don Cherry before.
100%.
I guarantee you, was it the McKenzie brothers back in the 80s? They were like what was it, SCTV?
CSV, or
they were the
Chicago group.
But do you remember the McKenzie brothers? They were.
I remember SCTV.
They were Canadian comedians. I bet they did something on Don Cherry.
John Candy was on that show.
On SCTV?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Harry Carey, though.
I think I will Harry Carey. Here's what I would say about him. A beloved Major League franchise, there were a lot of times he was the face of that franchise rather than a player.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's awful difficult to do.
And of all the 7th inning stretches, his was the most iconic.
Well, and look, I mean, he's still, if you go to Wrigleyville, he is still prominent all over the place.
No doubt. No doubt. He's been.
Yeah,
he's been
I would
going a
go
long
Harry
time.
Carey. We probably just don't know the impact of a Don Cherry.
Yeah.
Second down.
Yeah, I imagine that gets answered differently in Canada.
Probably.
You're right.
Roger Staubach, 83 years old today. Better career, Roger Staubach or Kenny Rogers?
I mean, Roger Staubach was viewed as an American hero. The guy served our country in the United States Navy. He
won a Heisman.
Won a Heisman
at
the Naval Academy.
Yep.
Something that I'm confident to say will never be done again.
But Kenny quarterbacked and made
America's team.
I got to say this.
Really, he's one of the reasons they're called America's team, right? Because of Roger Staubach.
Because so many people loved Roger Staubach because of his military background, and the Cowboys became uber popular when he was the guy with Tom Landry.
I would rather have the career of Roger Staubach, but based on the fact that when I was a kid that I thought Kenny Rogers was like a tough guy cowboy, that he could pull that off way back in the day. Now, if you go back and watch The Gambler now, you're like, what a joke, and Six Pack and some of those terrible movies. But his product for a little bit, I thought Boston Market was always a little bit better.
Kenny Rogers Roasters was good.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yes, I liked it very much.
Lady, yes, one of those horrible songs he had.
He was married like 5 times.
No,
Kenny
probably.
Rogers was?
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But he was also part of the documentary on the, what was the song that Quincy Jones put together?
We Are the World.
We Are the
We Are the
World.
World,
They didn't think they could do it without him.
Yeah.
That's how big he was.
Yeah, that's why I think Kenny Rogers did have the better career.
No, Roger Staubach.
That's how big Kenny Rogers was then, though. They were like, basically, they sat down, Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson sat down and said, who do we have to have? And Kenny Rogers was one of them.
Yeah. Staubach was never that big.
Still greatest gambling song of all time, The Gambler.
I
Can't
like
beat
The
that.
Gambler.
Can't beat it.
That is a good song, man.
Third down.
I'll go Kenny Rogers. He had the Roasters.
Hank Aaron, would have been 91 today. Better career, Hank Aaron or Hank Williams?
Senior or junior?
Senior. Hank Williams would be senior.
Yeah, I mean, I think senior didn't have the longevity of junior, but senior is more respected.
Senior's
right?
more respected. Junior's had the better
Damn,
career.
dude, there's shark attacks coming on Dr. Odyssey.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
that got my attention.
They are out of ideas.
I'm going to have to watch that one.
They're chasing the boat. Now, forget that. To get on the boat, it's
That's unbelievable.
It's
Fins
18
everywhere.
stories high, but
there'll be a shark attack. Trust me.
we should be okay if nobody falls out into the shark-infested waters.
So good.
Okay, I don't think there's any argument in this that Hank Williams Sr. is by far the more respected musician, but Hank Williams Jr. had by far the better career.
Right.
Because, Jim, Sr. died when he was 27.
Yeah, I know, but he wrote songs that I think
That's like Dave
changed
Grohl has had a
country
better
music.
career than Kurt Cobain. I mean,
Yeah.
But seniors had the more impactful career.
I'm not arguing that.
Like when they did the country music
Yeah.
documentary on PBS, there wasn't a big section of it dedicated to Hank Williams Jr.
well, Hank Williams Sr. didn't have time to sell out.
I'm just saying.
When you die that young,
I'm just saying that apparently, and I was not influenced by Hank Williams, but apparently Hank Williams influenced that country music for decades, and Hank Williams Jr. did not. He did not.
Well, and he
music for
influenced
decades.
artists to die early too.
Yeah.
I do think he was more influential. I don't think there's any doubt.
I'm not even arguing that. I'm just saying who had a better career was Junior.
Yeah. Now, who's Hank Williams against?
Hank Aaron, who would have been 91 today.
I'll go Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron, for me, because he was the home run king for so long. He broke Babe Ruth's record, which at the time was the most important record in American sports. He did it. He did it in the TV era of the 70s when you only had 3 channels and everybody watched baseball. The one time it was on, and before he was even that version of himself, he was a 3-tool player for the Milwaukee Braves.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I
Yeah.
think it was almost the face for that organization in Milwaukee, and you can make the argument Chipper Jones is up there, obviously with those great pitchers that we talked about last week with Maddox and Smoltz and Glavine, but Hank Aaron still might be the face of the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, I wasn't around for it, but I think it was Hank Aaron's Home Run Derby. It was a TV show on Saturday mornings.
It was awful, too. The camera angle was behind the plate, and you would just see they were swinging like a 44-inch bat. You could barely see the launch angle.
Yeah. Do you remember
they just figured it was gone.
Do you remember the home run derby they would do at Wrigley Field in L.A.? Not Wrigley Field in Chicago, but Wrigley Field in L.A., and it was in black and white. I think Mickey Mantle hosted it, and they used to replay it. Was that Hank Aaron?
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Mickey Mantle, but they used to replay it on ESPN when I was a kid.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay,
And I
didn't know that
can't
was Hank Aaron.
believe we would watch that because, again, you didn't have a good angle.
No, but it was like, all right, today, Hank, we got Harmon Killebrew, and he'll be facing off against Jimmy Fox.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
And it was Wrigley. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
4th down.
I was always confused as a kid because they would say, of course, we're right here at Wrigley Field. And I was like, that looks nothing like Wrigley Field in
There's
Chicago.
no bleachers.
Yeah, what have they done here?
Cristiano Ronaldo is 40 years old today. Ronaldo or LeBron James, ultimately better career.
LeBron James.
Worldwide Ronaldo.
Yeah. How many championships has he won, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
LeBron's
Like, I'm not a big LeBron guy, but worldwide, LeBron is pretty massive.
Tyler may be able to help us here.
He's very popular. I just think Ronaldo more popular around the globe. And I'm going to say Ronaldo is. I'm going to say LeBron's got slightly more money for him because of his business interests. I'm going to say LeBron is almost a billionaire and Ronaldo just slightly below that, 800 million to 750 million.
Yeah, I bet it's really. I bet both are. I would say both are billionaires.
I say close.
Net worth for Cristiano Ronaldo is over 800 million.
Wow.
750 for LeBron.
Let's see, LeBron is 1.2 billion, so they're closer than you would think. But
yeah,
I think,
they can't spend it.
1.2 billion for LeBron.
So is Ronaldo still playing?
Yes.
Yeah, he was with the Saudis.
Yes, he's over at the Saudis. He signed, I believe it was a record-breaking contract.
But I think he's left this past year. He's going to, I'm going to say Spain.
See, the problem with him, the problem with comparing championships is which one do you choose for Ronaldo? Like LeBron's only got the one. It's the NBA World Championship. Ronaldo's Champions League. He plays for Portugal. I think
Did he win a World Cup?
I think he has. I'm not certain on that.
I don't know if Portugal has.
I don't think Ronaldo won a World Cup.
But the World Cup's only every 4 years too, so it's kind of hard to compare that to the NBA championship. So
he oh wait, that's the wrong Ronaldo. My bad.
I'm looking for the Cristiano one.
Yeah.
We've got facts on
no
Geraldo
World
back
Cup
here.
wins
All the
for
Ronaldos.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wait a minute,
but
that's
he's got
Geraldo.
every other prize in soccer you could ever ask for.
Yeah. I think I'd go better career Ronaldo.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
5 great locations. Stop in. Go see the Bajalia Brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers Chris and Jason continue to celebrate that legacy for lunch or dinner, from the soul pie to the hot mama. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
All right, trash coming up on the other side. We'll revisit Auburn's win last night over Oklahoma, set the table for Florida, everything else that went on basketball still to come in the final half hour of the show. This is The Next Round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Make Valentine's Day special with our friends at the New York Butcher Shops. Right now, their Valentine's Day special, you get 2 certified Angus prime beef choice fillets, 2 twice-baked potatoes, fresh salad for 2, and yeast rolls. The choice, $59.99. The prime, $74.99. Available for pickup right before Valentine's Day. 2 locations. The New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights, 205-970-7300. The location in Greystone, Highway 119, 205-703-8825. This Valentine's Day, make it rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Trash in just a second. College basketball from last night brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, as you start to get a little older, from your 20s when everything is perfect to your 30s when you start realizing, man, I'm mortal. You want to stay on top of your health. 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s, 50s to 60s, and our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama can help you. 205-930-0920, 930-0920, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. 16 locations, prostate health to kidney stones, and everything in between. Nobody does it better than Urology Centers of Alabama, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. Cut number 4, if you can. My man Melton here. Porter Moser coaches Oklahoma, and last night his team went to Auburn playing number one as a tournament team easily in the brackets, and they got beat 98-70, and truthfully, the game wasn't that close. And as Brown pointed out earlier this year, in the first SEC game of the year, unbeaten Oklahoma went to Tuscaloosa and got beat equally as bad. So Porter Moser last night was asked just how good Auburn is.
I thought we were fighting the first 20 minutes. I thought we came out in the second half fighting, even though it didn't look good. I mean, we were doing some things. It was in reach, and I just think it snowballed on us. And they can do that to you. I mean, the physicality and the size that they have. I thought, they make you pay. Get an offensive rebound. I don't know how many they got kicking out those threes off an offensive rebound, but if you want to beat the best, you have a small margin in there, and we had way too big of a margin for sure. Broom, you got to ask yourself. I mean, what everyone asks: are you going to double him or not? And I thought we did some good things out of the double. He got us sometimes out of the double. And that's the game you got to play with them. But, man, Carbo's so big and he's so active on the glass. It's just two of them. And then they got shooters everywhere. They really got a complete team. And they really do.
Yeah, so you're going to double Johni Broome, and that leaves Chad Baker-Mazara, Miles Kelly, Denver Jones, Tahad Pettiford.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chad Baker and Miles were off last night.
Yeah.
But didn't matter.
You're right. In the first half, the team was 2 of 12 from 3, or it would have been a disaster.
It'd have been a blowout at the half. Yeah.
Melton, can you pull him back up, Porter Moser? Do you remember Cold Pizza? Was the guy's name Jay Crawford?
Yeah, he does have
Jay
a little Jay
Crawford meets Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
I don't know who Jamie Lannister is, but Jay Crawford's such a deep dig for you.
Yeah, Jamie Lannister is for people that didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. He was very important.
Tonight,
from episode 1.
Tonight, both Alabama and Auburn can gain from Missouri's misfortune. Missouri is at Tennessee. I imagine, I don't know what the number is on that one, Lance. Big number.
Yep.
I imagine Tennessee's going to win that game. Don't
Ziegler
you?
playing, not playing?
I think he is supposed to play tonight.
Doesn't matter against Florida.
Yeah.
But
6 o'clock SEC Network. Missouri, you bring it up, Brandy. Why?
Because if Missouri loses tonight, they are now 6-3 in the league. So Auburn is 3 games clear of everybody but Alabama. Alabama now will be 2 games clear. Now, like you said yesterday, this is going to be a loss column thing. We're going to ignore that because everybody plays 18, so we're not going to get caught up in, no, they're only a game and a half up. You would have Alabama 2 clear of everybody else in the conference. You would have Auburn 3 clear of everybody else in the conference. I am convinced the SEC regular season champion is an automatic 1 seed, if not the overall number 1.
Yep.
A lot of people last night on Twitter were like, Duke's going to lose another game. I'm like, guys, if Alabama and Auburn win out, they're not going to. But if Alabama and Auburn, either one wins out, they're the overall number 1. Period. End of sentence. I do not care what Duke does.
Yeah. By the way, if Alabama and Auburn both win out except when they play each other, they're 1 and 2.
Probably so. Even if Duke wins the rest of theirs.
Even if Alabama wins every game but loses to Auburn twice, I still believe Alabama would be the 2nd overall seed.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Well, depending on what Duke does.
Yeah, maybe not the 2nd overall, but they would be a 1 seed.
When you look at the strength of schedule for either one.
They'd be a 1 seed for sure.
Ziegler is confirmed in the lineup tonight, and they are a 9-point favorite over Missouri.
So if you're Auburn, now Missouri, Florida, and Texas A&M have to go undefeated the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Have to go undefeated, even if you lose 3 games.
It becomes a 2-team race.
It's basically a 2-team race. If Missouri loses tonight to Tennessee, at the halfway point, it's a 2-team race between Bama and Auburn.
I think a lot of people think it's 2-team already. Not as many people think it's a 2-team race that think it's a 1-team race already.
Well, maybe so, but Alabama and Auburn have yet to play, so I at least like to see that before I declare it a 1-team race. But Alabama can gain ground tonight by not playing. They've got the midweek bye, and if Missouri loses, all of a sudden it is very much a 2-team race for the SEC, if it is not already.
Missouri, Tennessee, 6 o'clock on the SEC Network. Arkansas, Texas, 8 o'clock ESPN2. Fun game there as well. LSU, Georgia, 8 o'clock on the SEC Network. You had last night Walter Clayton Jr. sitting. Florida beats Vandy 86-76. That's important because he had that ankle injury that limited in the big loss at Tennessee. Florida comes and plays Auburn next, so keep an eye on Walter Clayton Jr. as he gets ready for the big trip to Neville. Richard had 21. Condon had 19 for Florida. That's Auburn's next opponent. Ole Miss drilled Kentucky 98-84. There's no way Kentucky can fall out of the NCAA tournament.
I don't think so
there?
based on these top 25 wins.
Yeah, I think it was ESPN that asked the question today, though, that is Kentucky moving towards the bubble? And I just don't.
I don't see it, but when you start looking forward at what Kentucky's got coming up, again, they're not playing great basketball right now, but what they've already accomplished.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
See the headline? I'm not
what's
making
it
it up.
say?
Look at this. It says, Bubble Watch, Kentucky still a should-be-in team for now. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know how that's possible based on the fact that they were a top 15 team up until, last night?
Yeah.
Where are they in the net? 19th after last night.
Now, they have lost 4 or 5, and the questionable losses would be at Vanderbilt and against Arkansas. You understand losing against Alabama and at Ole Miss.
By the way, Ole Miss with 1 turnover in that game. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Man,
or horrible defense
or
by
horrible
Kentucky.
by Kentucky, whichever way you look at it.
Let's just play this out. So right now, Kentucky's record is, what are they?
Kentucky
15
is
and 7.
15 and 7, yep.
Okay, so let's just play that they're going to win the games they're favored. 16 and 7 will win over South Carolina. Tennessee at home, they're going to be favored.
Yeah.
So let's say, that's going to do it. 17 and 7 Vanderbilt, 18 and 7 they go to Bama, they lose.
Let's
18
go
and
worst
8.
case scenario.
18 and 9, 18 and 10.
And let me quickly
11.
correct myself while you count there. I had not refreshed it. They dropped to 24th. They dropped 5 spots, losing at Ole Miss in the net last night. The net is a perplexing thing.
If we give them a Tennessee loss, a Texas loss, an Alabama loss, an Oklahoma loss, an Auburn loss, and a Missouri loss, you got 11 losses there. Oof. Did they get in at that point?
That's the 7-11 in the conference that we talked about still getting in.
So that's
and the name of Kentucky, by the way, on the jersey.
That would be 18 and 11.
Yeah. By the way, locks for the tournament right now. No way they're missing it. Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M. Locks.
That's according to ESPN?
That's 95% or more according to ESPN.
Yeah.
They've got Kentucky at 93%. Still should be in. 70% to 94% is their range there, and they got Kentucky at 90. That was a headline steal.
Boy, wasn't it? They barely are in.
We're only halfway through the conference schedule. Bottom could fall out. I don't see it because I think that there's so many teams that are kind of alike.
Yep.
And I just don't see the bottom falling out of any of these teams. But, if Kentucky...
Brown's talking SEC standings over there, Missouri. Work to do, not even should be in. Down the level below that, Missouri. Work to do.
They're third in the conference, right? If they win tonight, I guess that would be work.
They've got work to do. Georgia, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Outside looking in, no chance of getting in. LSU, South Carolina.
I think Georgia and maybe Oklahoma will play their way out of this. Arkansas could play their way in it. I don't think they will, but they could.
Big tonight. If they keep it going, you get to win on the road at Texas, and then they get Alabama home Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday would be the one that all of a sudden probably gets you on the right side of the bubble.
Yep. All right, so that's about basketball. Let's do trash now. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Milton, do you have something for me today? Let's hit it.
Reporters have been saying some pretty nasty things about Western Pennsylvania lately. And I couldn't agree with them more. I couldn't disagree with you. I couldn't agree with you more than the fact that
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
If you are looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process so easy. Speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. I think we're all fans of the Waffle House.
Like Waffle House, yep.
Yeah, I saw this story yesterday.
I actually
thought
only
about the Floribama, to be honest with you.
I only go when I'm at the Floribama, though.
Yeah, that's where I go mostly.
It's probably been 2 or 3 years since I've been to one not at the Floribama.
Yeah, my son and I go occasionally in town. Yeah.
So there is, so you know where Coastal is. Yeah. Just a little bit past Coastal, more towards Gulf Shores, there's a Waffle House on the same street as the one on the Floribama. I can't imagine how different the numbers are annually on what the one by Floribama does to the one that that is down further.
Last time.
And they're only separated by like 3 miles.
And the time of day, I would imagine Waffle House by the Floribama, midnight to 4 in the morning kicks pretty good.
You remember last time we were in there, Dunaway, I was talking to the manager. It's the same manager, and she is there every single time I go at the Floribama. And she's been there since we started doing shows at the Bama.
Yes.
And we were talking to her about that night shift.
Brown started the conversation. Sweetie, can I ask you a question, sweetie?
She's the one that, honey. And I asked her about that night shift, and she's like, there are nights it gets crazy.
Did she tell you about the fight where she had to spray water on them? Yeah.
And she said, we've had to toss a few out, but most people behave themselves. But she's like, it is standing room only in here when the Bama shuts down.
Yeah. Sometimes they want to come on back and cook their own eggs.
Yeah, she did say that, didn't she?
Yeah. Speaking of eggs.
So Waffle House adding a 50-cent per egg surcharge to customers' orders, citing the impact of the ongoing egg shortage and rising prices caused by the bird flu. Now, instead of increasing prices across its menu, the 24-hour breakfast chain is opting for a, quote, temporary targeted surcharge tied to the unprecedented rise in egg prices, the company said in a statement. Now, they went on to say, quote, well, while we hope these price fluctuations will be short-lived, we cannot predict how long this shortage will last. Now, according to a forecast by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the price of eggs will rise 20% this year. Bird flu was confirmed in a commercial flock in the U.S. 3 years ago. The outbreak has worsened in recent months, with 17 million egg-laying hens slaughtered in November and December. Flu affected 85 commercial flocks, including egg-laying hens in January alone. Now, eggs are the most ordered item in Waffle House. I don't know why I'm surprised by this. It operates 2,100 locations in 25 states, but the eatery serves 272 million eggs a year. According to its website, that compares to 153 million servings of hash browns and 124 million waffles. I can take or leave the egg.
Yeah, I don't normally get eggs there, in fact.
My wife loves eggs. I get eggs when I go there. And she will tell you, nobody does scrambled eggs more consistently good than Waffle House.
But where else would you eat scrambled eggs consistently?
You could go to
Cracker Barrel.
any hotel buffet or anything. Or
a lot of hotel buffets, it's that powdered egg stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you don't really know, like if you're at a Marriott.
That's why you love Waffle House. They're cracked eggs.
That's right. You see them crack them and put them right there in the old scale. You know the key to cooking them at home, I learned, is you cook eggs very slow. That gives you better scrambled eggs.
They don't cook them slow at Waffle House.
They don't. I'm just saying if you want them fluffier, a little. I think they're better that way.
I like my eggs fried, and I've got my little cheat code now. I've struggled lately, just not having the best skillets of it running too much and getting all over the plate. I've got those little things now that you put in there. You crack the eggs in them, and they hold their form.
Like you're making an Egg McMuffin or something.
So it works good on a sandwich, and after you build the edges, it's easier to flip and everything.
Yep.
It's easy.
Florida woman threw ketchup, mustard, and eggs at her ex-boyfriend's car and then hit him with her Range Rover.
That'll be 50 cents per egg, man.
Yashabel Edward, 19, was arrested Friday after the incident in the parking lot of the Hampton Point Apartments.
With the price of eggs right now, which was the more humble brag?
The Range Rover or the eggs?
I threw eggs or the Range Rover.
Yeah, Edward allegedly threw the eggs at her ex-boyfriend's car before escalating the situation, then doused the vehicle with ketchup and mustard. Moments later, deputies said the suspect came speeding around a corner in her Range Rover and struck the victim with her vehicle. Deputies say the victim's body was struck by the SUV, slamming him into the windshield, shattering the glass. He then flew out the hood and onto the pavement. Sheriff's office confirmed that Edward intentionally ran over her ex. She has been arrested and charged with bodily harm. She has since been released from jail after posting bond. Meanwhile, the victim was treated by paramedics at the scene, transported to a local hospital for further care. Victim is now out of the hospital, but is suffering from several fractures. Do you think they get back together?
Oh yeah. There's a reason she's still around with him.
I got one of the little chips in my windshield the other day, so I got to go.
So frustrating.
Take care of that before it becomes that.
Yeah,
boy, it's more expensive than you think
for the chip.
Well, your deductible of your insurance is so high that you just end up paying for it out of your pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a chip's only a couple $100 to fix, right?
If they can fill it.
If they're able to plug it.
Yeah, you got to get in there before it's bigger than a nickel, I think.
Yeah, but then you'll have to sign that they're going to try it, and it may actually crack your windshield more, it may start spreading. And then the problem is so many sensors that are put in the windshield now. it becomes a $1,000 job pretty quickly.
It's easy $1,000 if you have to have it replaced.
19-year-old Wingstop manager facing felony charges after she doused 2 customers with hot grease and ranch dressing during a confrontation on Tuesday night.
She's a Wingstop manager?
Well, she's 19. I mean, she had already climbed the corporate ladder, and now she's going to throw it all away over this one thing.
According to investigators, victims tangled with Coronel Irene, the Wingstop worker inside of a Florida outpost of the chicken wing restaurant. Irene told police that the customers, one of whom is a minor, were, quote, loud and disruptive and caused a disturbance. Now, during the dispute, which is not further detailed in the arrest report, one of the patrons pushed a container of straws off the counter. Doesn't say whether they were paper straws or not. There's certain places that I just can't go because of the paper straw, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. Yeah, I don't like paper straws.
I really don't use a straw, so.
But you got to think here now. She's 19, and she's the manager. And at some point, she probably said, "You kids settle down over there."
A kid? Who you calling a kid?
And then they knock the straws off, and she says, "All right, here's some hot grease."
Okay, well, this is probably
You like this hot grease?
where this really went wrong. Now, the conflict, cops say, quote, escalated with Irene, seen right there, responded by throwing ranch dressing at the victims. She then went into the kitchen, returned with a bucket of hot grease, and then threw the hot grease at the victims.
Yeah, the ranch we're all laughing about. The hot grease is where that amps it up.
That's permanent.
Yeah.
Now, store security footage reviewed by police showed an individual trying to hold back our girl right here, but she, quote, pushed forward and threw the liquid from the bucket. Irene, cops said, admitted to spraying ranch dressing all over the customers, justified her actions by stating that the customers were being verbally abusive and reached over the counter to knock over the straws. Now, she was arrested, charged with aggravated battery, aggravated child abuse, both felonies. Her bond was set at $15,000. Seems a little extreme.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I probably would want to keep a special batch of wings in the back to heat up.
Yeah.
That maybe I let sit out in the sun for a little bit.
Right.
Then I batter them
Little
up.
salmonella in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let them deal with that when they get home, knocking my straws off.
Other day we had I forgot what kind of worker she was, but she was twerking over incapacitated dude.
That is correct, yep.
Yeah,
so now we've got a hospital worker in Iowa was fired from her position after a video allegedly showing her flossing her teeth over a patient.
Which, I mean, if you've got, I cannot eat popcorn without getting a kernel so deep between my teeth that I can't get it with anything but floss. I mean, any bag of popcorn I eat, it's gotten to where I just don't eat popcorn because of it. It's so annoying.
Now, this was Christmas this year, December 25th, 2024. Joe Brainbridge shared a video on Facebook of his best friend, Cole Tiny Cross. Tiny, the nickname. You can see he's got a B or C cup right there. Does. Now, he was being treated at the Regional Health Center for congenital heart disease. Now, in the video, nurse's aide is seen flossing her teeth while standing over the patient. Despite Cross's attempts to get her attention, the aide continues to floss and ignore him. Video quickly went viral, gaining over 900 shares, nearly 335,000 views. But she was immediately fired after this.
Yeah. Gotta be.
I mean, why are we videotaping this? Why is she
a lot of questions.
doing it?
Yep, a lot of questions.
Yeah. Does she make more money for being part of a viral video than she was making to do that job?
To be a nurse aide?
Does she already have another job lined
She'd
up?
probably do OnlyFans. She's hot.
Yeah. He's on his way to doing that now. I feel like we should have blurred those out.
I mean, it's borderline.
Yeah.
It is borderline. Kanye could take her to the Grammys.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
Trash brought to you today by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, our friends at Mortgage Right. It is buying season always. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help, no cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com, or call 205-900-7200.
Okay, before we go, the highest selling jerseys in the NFL is out. It's our Champy's Dash to the end here. You can dash and get your to-go food from Champy's Chicken Highway 119 in Alabaster. Just go to champyschicken.com and order ahead in a quick pickup window, and you're ready to go. Or you can dine in that wonderful atmosphere that Sterling has created for over a decade. It's all right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Great Southern fried chicken, all the sides, a Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. This past year, which jersey sold the most?
I am going to say it is either Lamar Jackson or Saquon Barkley. I know
easy.
the obvious answer is going to be Mahomes.
No, the obvious answer is Travis Kelce. This is the Taylor Swift effect.
Lamar Jackson is 7th on this list. This is from 2024.
Where's Saquon?
Saquon Barkley does not make the top 10.
Well, I guarantee that was probably before the...
Yeah, but he sold more recently. Yeah.
Well, before maybe New York to Philadelphia.
No, it's all of 2024, so it includes this football season.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Number 10 on the list, Brock Purdy.
Wow.
Number 9 on the list, J.J. Watt, and these numbers are from the NFL. Number 8 on the list is Justin Jefferson. Number 7 on the list is Lamar Jackson. Number 6 on the list is C.J. Stroud.
Wow.
It gets more surprising here. Number 5 is Tyreek Hill. Dolphins fans just don't look like a big jersey fan wearing base.
Well, part of the problem is when they scan the crowd in Dolphins games,
there's nobody there.
Always ready for a shot, isn't it? Always. When they scan there's fans there. They're half in the proper logo and half in the New Jersey. And there are no Tyreek Hill proper. Well, actually, there are. They do sell the throwback with Tyreek Hill.
Number 4 is Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. Number 3 on this list is an Eagle. It's Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Surprising to me.
How many Eagles fans would trade their Hurts jersey for a Saquon jersey?
Probably so. Number 2 on the list, you nailed it, Patrick Mahomes.
Right. And number 1 is Travis Kelce.
And Travis Kelce's not on the list.
He's not number 1?
He's not even in the top 10.
I'm actually stunned at that. I really am.
Not even in the top 10. Number 1 on the list, Christian McCaffrey of the San Francisco 49ers.
CMC, huh? Wow. Purdy and McCaffrey.
Didn't realize their fan bases wore that many jerseys.
I know,
either.
2 of them in the top 10.
Do you remember, back in the day, the Colts fan base was
still do.
nothing but jerseys. Nothing but jerseys in the stands.
Don't know what the jersey is they wear.
Yeah, I don't know who you're buying.
Pierce.
Anthony Richardson.
Probably still Peyton Manning, to be honest with you.
I'm really surprised Kelce didn't show up.
I am too because of the Taylor Swift.
Because of the Taylor Swift angle. I thought that's why you were going there.
Would you ever see Taylor Swift in a Travis Kelce jersey? She probably would need to wear one.
Maybe.
I bet you do Sunday.
You know what's crazy? If Andrew Luck wasn't retired, he'd still be playing.
Yep.
And who knows? He might be playing this Sunday.
He's now the general manager of the Stanford Cardinals.
Yeah. It does not sound like a desirable job.
I just don't understand. I mean, he's got all the money, and now he's going to be that. And Deion Branch, remember him? Super Bowl MVP, massive contract with the Seahawks after that. He is now the wide receivers coach at Louisville.
It's wild how many NFL guys are getting into college coaching.
I know.
The guys that make good money in the NFL are doing it.
I know. That's the show today. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Don't forget, a new Bama and Bourbon is out right now. Go check it out. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.